Oh, yeah. Hey, diddle dee. How's everybody doing out there? Welcome to Deep Fat Fry.
Yep. Back again. Back again.
Back once more.
Dude, I'm going to say it right here.
Say it, Paul.
YouTube's longest running podcast.
Yep. YouTube's longest running podcast. In fact, the longest running podcast in the history of podcasts.
Yep.
I'm counting everything we've ever done.
Yeah.
I'm counting, even when Paul and I were just doing shit on YouTube, that was all Deep Fat Fried. You guys just didn't even know that shit. It's all been Deep Fat Fried. Every single fucking thing.
I'm going to say
all
it too.
Of it.
Most prestigious podcast ever.
Yeah, I mean, look, we might not be the top viewed, top rated, but you know what? We're like the Bob Dylan of the fucking scene, like other people, they might have better numbers than us, but they're Britney Spears. That's bubblegum pop bullshit. That's trash. That's garbage. We're the true artists here. You know what I mean? This is art. This is you feel the power. You mean, like the moment we appear on the screen, you just feel that thrum of power just emanate through the domiciles of all of our lovely peoples out there.
I can definitely feel it for sure.
The best objectively. Right. The objectively, like, it's not even a matter of opinion. Objectively the best podcast.
Yes.
Ever made in all of history.
100%.
Like our worst podcast is better than the second best podcast.
That is absolutely true.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely true. Somebody said I made the podcast 100,000 times better, TJ. Did you see that shit?
100,000 times better.
Look at that.
Paul makes DFF 100,000% better. Damn.
Holy shit, man.
That's insane. Where's Sir Ian McKellen? I don't know. Probably taking a shit.
I love Sir Ian McKellen.
Wouldn't it be interesting? It would be an interesting superpower to just know when people are taking a shit.
Maybe for you. I don't really care. I don't shitting is just.
You could know that though, like, oh man, the Pope's taking a shit right now. Oh God, it's fucking chunky.
Oh, you would not only know that he was taking a shit, but you'd be able to like see the texture and
you would know. You would know you would know what was going on with his shit.
Ooh.
The Pope's taking a shit right now. Oh, Brad Pitt's dropping a deuce. Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
I guess John Lithgow might want to talk to a doctor. That shit's looking rank right there.
You would probably like have a really popular website if you could do this.
Yeah, I'd be like, oh,
why don't you just do it anyway? Just like claim that they're shitting.
Yeah, you just have like timers that just go off like once or twice a day.
Yeah.
For some people, you make them constipated. For some people, you make them have diarrhea,
There's probably some people out there that would enjoy like shitting with Brad Pitt,
It's like, oh yeah, like time your shits to Brad Pitt's shits. I could even call it bradpittshits.com. It can still cover other celebrities, but like be like
if you do that, you're gonna get sued, but you're probably gonna get sued anyway, so you may as well just do whatever you want.
I mean, I don't think he would sue me because I don't think he would want to draw more attention to bradpittshits.com. And like these celebrities, even when something like that does take off, they kind of like have to be like, oh, I'm in on the joke. I'm also amused by it. Even if they want to kill me, even if they want to like send their goons to fucking beat the shit out of me.
Wow.
I remember when, there was actually when the James Bond franchise got passed, when they did the torch pass to, I guess there was never really a torch pass, but when they fucking switched from Pierce Brosnan to Daniel Craig, there was this website called craignotbond.com and shit.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
It was like brutally fucking Daniel Craig is a fucking terrible choice. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, the fucking studio managed to get that shit taken down. So there definitely is times when they'll fucking be like, no, we don't like this. This has got to go.
Yeah. I think I remember that. Just angry people out there, man. Reminds me of there was this website that used to drive Robin Quivers from the Howard Stern show crazy because she's a fucking narcissist, so she can't handle being wrong, and it was called robinswrong.com. And he would like go through all her opinions and find the stupid shit that didn't make any sense and just like continuously put. And she said a lot of shit that didn't make any sense, and it drove her fucking insane for years. And Howard would bring it up just because it would make her mad, because she was trying to do the like, oh, I'm just going to ignore it.
I saw this thing on Vosh's.
Sorry.
Whoa. Saw this thing on.
I was sharing audio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my bad. Good.
Damn, TJ's watching one of his own videos, dude. How self-involved can you be, TJ?
I'm sorry. I was trying to someone in the chat was like, go to TJ's latest video and click the Discord link. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna see what happens. It just goes to my Discord. Okay, whatever. I don't understand. All right, whatever. I don't know why I followed. I was trying to do it fucking, covertly or whatever, but.
Hey, Paul, what do you think of Russia liberating Bakhmut? Dude, you're not going to bait me. You're not going to bait me into another Ukraine rant, okay? Look, I've done it plenty of times, and I'll probably do it plenty more times, but we're not going to force the Ukraine rant.
You can't stack them one after the other either,
Yeah, no. Red meat to the people when I decide. Yeah. I don't think we're going to talk anything. I don't even think we're going to discuss.
There's no Ukraine stuff. I also didn't pull any of the Elon Musk stuff simply because I didn't like the quality of the video, but it was kind of funny. But we got plenty of other shit to talk about that's fucking pretty crazy. We'll start with some news because we like to throw a little news on the Monday shows these days due to the influence of our nuggets, our oniony nuggets. Check this out. I have not heard about this, but I guess this is the thing right now. By the way, if you guys like this shit, this tianeptine, now's the time to stock up because articles like this are a precursor to getting banned in a bunch of places.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that dude, fucking what was that? Salvia was sold for like fucking 6 decades in gas stations, and then as soon as the news picked up on it.
Yeah, the news banned. Fucking just. I hate the news. Fuck you, the news.
Well, this is actually something that they do that is hateable, because the news is always looking for these stories that are supposed to rile people up into thinking that like there's this new epidemic that is being caused by this shit. And that the truth of the matter is like any other fucking psychoactive substance, a few people probably abuse it to an extreme extent, and it's not good for you if you do that. You know what I mean? But like this shit being on the shelf is probably, like, for some people, it's probably overall a good thing. If you read this article,
yeah,
like it's actually an effective antidepressant.
Yeah,
it's just not
it's
cleared.
Called tianeptine. It's colloquially known as gas station heroin, according to this fucking article. It's been banned by several states. It's being marketed as a dietary supplement, but some users are describing it as a highly addictive opioid. Right. Tianeptine is a tricyclic antidepressant used to treat depression in some European, Latin American, and Asian countries, but it's not approved by the FDA for medical use in the U.S. But it's not a controlled substance, and it's typically sold in the U.S. as a dietary supplement or nootropic, which is a chemical that improves cognitive function, or a research chemical under brand names like Zaza Red, by Jaja actually, TD Red, or Tiana. It can be found in gas stations or easily bought online. Medical experts say tianeptine functions as an opioid because it hits opioid receptors in the brain, which explains why people have reported severe withdrawal when they try to stop using it.
By the way, a lot of like FDA approved antidepressants, you have horrible withdrawals, a lot of them for the same fucking reason.
Yeah.
So you don't hear that getting covered though. It's all about how this shit that's supposed to, like, this shit, like, let's be honest, this shit might fuck you up if you take too much of it, like most drugs will, but this is not heroin. All right.
Let's just think of a fucking, if there was a system in place that said, hey, here's this drug, here's what it does, here's the negatives, here's the positives, and was just very transparent and honest about what this drug can do, how it affects you, et cetera, et cetera. And it was just like, it could just be sold to you like, hey, buyer fucking beware. Caveat emptor, motherfucker. But like, give people the disclosures and just sell the fucking shit. And it's like, why don't we just do that? Instead of this idea that like, oh, some drugs we're going to treat this way and others we're going to treat that way. And it's like, there's no rhyme or reason to how drugs are treated.
No.
Because like, you know, this drug is probably fine in about 1,000,001 ways. But because someone had withdrawal, I mean, like, how many fucking drugs are there I mean, do alcoholics ever have withdrawal when they try to fucking stop drinking? Yeah.
Yes.
Do fucking smokers ever have withdrawal when they try to stop smoking? Yeah. You can have withdrawal from fucking, like, there's people who have withdrawal symptoms from fucking marijuana. It's not common, but it exists. You know what? The other day, I was talking to someone about sugar intake, you know, and it was like, hey, I haven't had sugar in a few days. It's giving me a headache. And as soon as they had some sugar, it was like, bam. It was just
headache.
The headache was gone. That was withdrawal. But no one's we're not fucking talking. This article's not about sugar. This article's not about cigarettes, not about alcohol. It's just this drug. Because all of a sudden, like, you know, Vice decided that we want to create a new fucking panic over something that they
just know that they just know that this type of story gets clicks. This shit being for sale in gas stations is not a big story. It's not at the head of a giant fucking death. I mean, you go through this whole article and they don't mention one death from overdose of tianeptine or whatever the fuck. It's just one of those drugs that's it's on the legal edge. You know what I mean? In some countries, it's prescribed for medication, but here the FDA just hasn't even qualified it. And so they can look at the probably handful of fucking people.
So here's a guy with fucking insane esophageal pain, as a horrible esophageal condition that had him previously addicted to opioids. And he's talking about this drug. He's like, they were amazing. Like, they took all the pain away. But within 5 days, he said he began upping his dose. While he started taking 3 at a time, every few hours, he can go through a bottle of 15 pills.
So he abused it.
Right.
Shocking.
So this guy started abusing this drug, which you can abuse any fucking drug. Like, there are people who've overdosed on fucking Tylenol and shit. So like, any drug can be fucking abused. But for every guy that's like sitting there popping these things like candy, I'm pretty sure there's probably plenty of fucking people who are using it with like some degree of responsibility.
You have to imagine, but
so he's saying the effects wear off quickly. But sometimes take them before bed and wake up in the middle of the night to take more. I mean, this guy sounds like he's in extreme pain and probably just needs like intervention from the medical industry. But unfortunately, like, nowadays they won't prescribe anything that's actually effective to people because they're so afraid of being held responsible for a new pandemic. But this is kind of like, seems to me like the kind of guy that actually might need that.
Seems that way to me.
Like, if you're in so much pain that you need to, like, oh my god, my esophagus, like, I need more. Here's a funny story, or I don't know, is it a funny story? It's kind of funny to me. I chuckled when I read the headline, at least. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' ally found dead amid sexual misconduct investigation.
Bro, what the fuck?
I don't know. That's a kind of amusing fucking little thing to me. A prominent donor and ally of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was found dead in a parking lot in North Florida last week. Jacksonville defense contractor Kent Sturman died of an apparent suicide outside of the Mayport post office on Thursday. Sturman owned the company Total Military Management and donated more than $60,000 to the DeSantis election funds. Sturman's connections to DeSantis go well beyond political donations. When DeSantis was pushed out of his Jacksonville district by redistricting in 2016, he moved into a Sturman-owned condo that was within the boundaries of the new district to run for office. Sturman was appointed to the Board of Governors overseeing state universities by DeSantis. The 50-year-old contractor was reportedly under investigation for sexual misconduct, according to Jacksonville Sheriff's office sources that spoke to the Florida Times-Union. The investigation remains ongoing at this time and will continue until its completion. As with all active investigations, there is limited information available to release at this time. However, as soon as the investigation has been completed, all applicable information will be available for release for the public. I'm thinking he was probably guilty of whatever the fuck they were investigating him for there, you know?
Yeah. And probably had, like, it was sexual misconduct, so he probably was not only guilty of sexual misconduct, but being a close ally to DeSantis, he probably had fucking information about other sexual misconducts going on in the circle of Ron DeSantis,
which, you know, which always makes you just kind of like, was it a suicide?
It wasn't.
You know?
Like, here's my dude. I tend to be a little conspiracy minded, and this is one of those things that I think the future is going to bear out. There's going to be a point in time where we cover a massive amount of ongoing political homicides in this country. I know it happens. There's no fucking way that it hasn't happened. The question is, how many times? How common is it? That's really the only bar, because at least one person has been bumped off to get them out of the way of a political candidate or to protect.
Well, I mean, we know
Epstein.
Candidate. I mean, we don't know for a fact Epstein was Epstein.
See, that's the thing. That Epstein was really what fucking woke my brain up to this, because I was just like, look at how none of this makes sense. The dude, all the shit in his cell that was meant to prevent this, all of it failed at once. The guard was asleep at the wheel. It was a hit. And they're all saying it was like everybody, basically all the major news outlets were like suicide, just lining up. This is a practice that's well established, in my opinion.
Right. I mean, like, and you know, it's like crazy to me. I mean, there's no fucking way. This is like really the kind of thing that just undercuts any sort of faith in the media in America, because there's no way that every single fucking person that hears that story is like, uh-oh, this don't pass the bullshit test. This don't pass the smell test. But the entire news media is like, oh yeah, suicide. Yep. Yep. It's like, come on, guys. This is one where literally even the most non-conspiracy minded people are like, no. Like, no one buys it. No one buys it. Even people who are not conspiracy minded people still know, or at least reasonably strongly suspect, that something fucking is extraordinarily fishy in that Epstein case.
Well, unlike this dude, who was probably just, like I said, bumped off because Ron DeSantis participated in his sexual misconduct, or he helped facilitate sexual they were just afraid he was going to roll on DeSantis.
Or so he gets powerful people, because I mean, he's obviously pretty well connected in general.
He gets suicided out. They suicide him up. You know what I mean? But nobody really knows who he was. And he's only really, like, you can only really make that connection with DeSantis. He's not connected to a bunch of people. The reason that, like, the reason why Epstein is so obviously like a case of somebody being murdered, extrajudicially by whatever the powers that be, is because Epstein, like, you just go through the fucking picture logs. He's got pictures with a bunch of fucking people.
Well, not only that, but like the circumstances of his death are so fucking suspicious. Like, oh yeah, all the cameras stopped working and all the guards left, and
yeah,
no one was watching, and he didn't even have enough room to kill himself, but he did anyway.
The public manifests of people that we know to have flown on Epstein's private jet are just insane. Bill Clinton, fucking Matt Groening from The Simpsons was on one of these jets.
Oh yeah,
a few
that's
times.
Right. He sure was.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, it calls into question a fuck ton of super powerful, super wealthy people.
And then all of a sudden he's dead.
And all of a sudden, he's not just dead. He commits suicide in a room that's meant to prevent that. And for some reason, just that night, the fucking security system on his the security camera and microphone trained on his cell just doesn't work, and the guard just doesn't do his rounds that he's supposed to do to check on people. You know what I mean? It's just too many fucking things lined up. It makes no. And then, like, the first fucking what you call it? Autopsy of his body says his hyoid bone is crushed, which is consistent with being strangled, not fucking dying by hanging.
JFK was a suicide. Interestingly enough, we actually have a JFK story for you a little later in this episode.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we do have a little JFK news.
So we did have a couple of interesting super chats that came in.
Yeah,
while
let's
we were
read 'em.
talking. This one here is asking about this guy Brian B, who gave $10. By the way, thank you for everyone who has donated. We don't get a chance to read all of them. We're not going to interrupt the flow of the show for it, but this one is an interesting question. For instance, if it's basically this is about drug detection. For instance, if current science/tech can't determine drug use is in fault for an accident or work injury, et cetera, is it justified to keep it illegal? Now, my answer is I don't think drugs should be illegal in general. But even if I did have that position, yeah, I mean, like, just because someone's on a drug and an accident happens does not necessarily mean you could instantly jump to the conclusion that it was the drug. Now, there's probably some instances where it's safer than others to make those kind of assumptions. But, I definitely think there's instances where drugs are blamed erroneously for accidents and things of that nature.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't know if I'm a full drug legalization guy, but I am for decriminalizing possession of drugs and use of drugs. Like the people that are like selling the shit and bringing it into the country and whatever, like them, they're more of a gray area for me. I don't really have a problem with law enforcement pursuing them, but like the fact that you can get like pulled over on the street and they find a fucking microgram of heroin in your fucking bag or some shit and you're going to jail for 20 years. That's ridiculous. Like I'm definitely for suspending the sentences of anybody for possession or use of a drug.
So Abilius here gave $5 and said, "No joke, Paul. A few crypto rich bros have been getting suicided lately."
Well,
but then again, I mean, like the crypto market is like not
they've got
so hot right now. So like a lot of those guys might just be like, "Oh my god, I'm leveraged up to my ears. My debt is enormous. There's no way I'm ever getting out of this." So
well, we see that in a lot of these huge financial crises. The suicide rate, especially amongst people that had a lot of their money tied up in whatever market has just crashed, skyrockets for that exact reason. They think, oh, I'm ruined. You know what I mean? I'll never get out from under the mountain of debt that I have, and I'll never be able to attain the level of living that I'd become accustomed to, and blah 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 blah. That's like that's like a motive in my mind for like, okay, it's understandable that like rich crypto bros would probably, a couple of them might commit suicide.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I don't know. I mean, it kind of depends on how many and like how suspicious of the circumstances, and I'd have to know more. So this is just a funny story to me. I mean, it's funny because it, I think, highlights something that's kind of tragic, but sometimes it's like you got to laugh to keep from crying kind of thing. The first Gen Z member of Congress was denied a DC apartment due to bad credit. It's like, how the fuck Gen Z, this is welcome to the world, man. Even your fucking congressman can't get a fucking apartment. His credit's too shitty. I mean, I'm sure that it probably was remedied once they realized that, they were a fucking elected official, but just the fact that it's this bad.
I think in some of the rants that I've gone on, on Ideology and on this show and everywhere that would listen to me, I might have been a little bit uncharitable.
I've never really known you to rant, Paul.
Yeah, I might have been a little uncharitable to Gen Z because, one of the things that I just kind of like took for granted was that kids are basically kids and they basically got the same kind of upbringing I did, and it turns out that's just not true. I've always had this thing where I feel like my upbringing and the upbringing the upbringings of children around me were pretty standard. But things have generationally changed, like they did between the time my parents were kids and me. And I just was, I don't have kids of my own and I don't deal with kid related shit. And so my assumption was, kind of like they got the same opportunities that I did. You know what I mean? My parents went down and they started my credit when I turned 18. They got me like a little co-signed credit card with a small limit or whatever, so that I could make little purchases and then pay it off every month and build my credit score and shit. Like, but a lot of Gen Z, like, not only did they not have a person to intervene positively on their finances, but like they had no choice. Like this dude probably went into a bunch of credit card debt because he had to support himself.
I mean, you're basically, I mean, we live in a country now, I feel, where like people are like encouraged to take on debt. Like, I mean, credit scores reward you not for going into massive debt, but like you're rewarded for having credit. You're not rewarded for not having credit. So if you
Yeah.
were just to go around and pay for everything with cash, your credit score would be you would be dog shit.
Yeah.
So, which is like insane.
Yeah,
there's
you've
also
got to
that
have
U.S. report that reported that died, especially in Qatar. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people die suspiciously. It's a big world, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And there's definitely a lot of politically motivated murder going on, not in the world at large, for sure.
Well, look, I mean, look, it's not even. I mean, I watch a lot of this show, Forensic Files and stuff. I mean, I think it might still be on in some form, but the narrator whose voice I liked is dead, so I really don't care about it anymore. But I've watched tons of it with the old narrator because I find his voice very relaxing. So a lot of times it's comfortable to go to sleep to, even though the content is often like, pretty nightmarish. It's like, and they were all strangled to death. And it's like, but,
Yeah.
but the thing about it is, you see that there's just like a lot of people out there who are, they have that strong sort of sociopathy vibe. And of course, that's disproportionately represented in things like politics, where, if someone becomes a problem, a lot of times the sociopathic brain is like, what is the most expedient solution for this problem? What if they were just like not a person anymore,
Yeah, what if they just like we didn't have to worry about them opening their mouths?
Yeah, I mean, this has always been, I mean, look, the mafia back in the day, I mean, even I guess still today, like, but the heyday of the Italian mob, I mean, those motherfuckers were killing each other off like flies.
Yeah, I think you can go back even farther than that, like kings and queens and medieval Europe and, like that, Caesars and pharaohs. It's just like, but for some reason, I've lived most of my life under the assumption that the United States was different. Our leaders don't have people killed for shady reasons to shut them up or to hide things from the public. We're better than that here, and we're just not. But nobody talks about the implications of that. It's like if you're too right about something, if you expose too much wrongdoing, you're getting your fucking throat slit here. And like, what does that say about the way our system works? Largely propped up by criminal enterprise is what it says to me.
U.S. scientists reach long-awaited nuclear fusion breakthrough, sources say. Now, I'm taking this with a grain of salt because the news media is notoriously bad at reporting on science and scientific discoveries. But basically, for the first time ever, U.S. scientists at the National Ignition Facility at the Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California successfully produced a nuclear fusion reaction, resulting in a net energy gain, a source familiar with the project confirmed to CNN. The U.S. Department of Energy is expected to officially announce the breakthrough Tuesday. The result of the experiment would be a massive step in a decades-long quest to unleash an infinite source of clean energy that could help end dependence on fossil fuels. Researchers for decades have attempted to recreate nuclear fusion, replicating the fusion that powers the sun.
Dude,
because all nuclear power right now is
this is just showing
fission, which is the splitting of the atom. This is like, let's merge two atoms together.
This is the beginning of the Fallout universe.
Yeah, because this is going, I mean, like it or not, win, lose, or draw, like if this is really happening, things are going to go this way, because there's no fucking way that they're not going to use this technology now that this breakthrough has happened, unless this is just being oversold to us, which is very possible.
Let me bring the conspiracy angle to this one too. I think they've had this for a while, and the fact that we're hearing about it means that they're unveiling it and it's going to start showing up for commercial use. But I think that there's a really good chance that the military has had this technology for a while.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that strange to think like, all right, we've got it, we figured it out. How do we roll it out to the Gen Pub?
It explains away some of the like strange aircraft sightings and UFO sightings and stuff that happen around American military bases. Like these, from what I understand, motors and jets and whatever engines based on this type of power source would be capable of ramping up power incredibly quickly and efficiently in a way that just like we can't even hope to replicate in fossil fuel driven, transportations, jets or whatever the fuck. And so yeah, this could create some jets that could do some fucking insane shit. And some military vehicles.
And we have,
that were,
and of course, people have seen some things, having some strange maneuvers in the sky and shit. And
people are like, lol,
it's
okay,
UFOs,
Paul.
It's aliens and all this, but like,
I love this audience. Lol, okay, Paul, whatever. Some dude rolling his eyes at my conspiracy, and then right below him, the military is always 2 to 30 years ahead of what they tell us. Yeah, I know. Like, I mean, just come on.
Look,
buddy.
This is just speculation, guys. Like, we don't know for sure, but like, do you really think it's all that strange to think that they've had this and are just now like letting us know? Like, do you really think like what's more? Literally, like, what's more likely? The fact that we're appraised of everything the moment it happens, or the idea that they're like engineering when this information gets released to us?
We know
which
for
makes
a
more
fact.
sense to you. Like, come on.
We know for a fact now that the news media that we all rely on to get our information, by the way, colludes widely, even between companies. You remember that video that came out that showed the people from literally across networks reading the same exact thing about some political story that was going on? The same exact blurb was read on every goddamn fucking news. There was mass collusion. We already know that like it's like you can't have an open and free press if you want to get away with the shady type of shit, Epstein type shit, and fucking financial misappropriation and all the stock insider trading and shit that's going on in fucking Congress. You can't have a fucking news media that's really vested in digging up information about that.
Let's just think about what the news media
in your pocket.
Let's think about the news media has become, though. Like the news media at this point is 3 or 4 giant corporations, right? Like it's gone down. It's owned by less and less people every fucking decade or so. Like pretty soon there's just going to be 1, maybe 2 media companies. There'll be some talk about, well, maybe we should split them up, but they're not going to.
Yeah.
So there's going to be like one, and like think about what these news companies want. They want content, and they want to have all these politicians willing to sit down for interviews with them. They want to have access to all this information that the government's going to give them. And you know what? That there's like give and take with that.
Yeah.
And the take is basically you publish shit when we tell you to. When we want to kill a story, you let us kill it.
Yeah.
So it basically becomes functionally a state-run media because it's a state.
It's the propaganda. It's the propaganda arm, and this is like where you're thinking wrong on this, Victor. I don't trust people's ability to keep secrets. I don't trust the general public's ability to keep secrets or your average person, but international security apparatuses are really good at keeping secrets.
Well, not only
really,
that, but here's the
really
thing.
good.
You don't even have to keep the secret, though. You can, any information that comes out anywhere for any reason is suspect. Like because basically like the truth is hidden in like so much disinformation and misinformation that even if it was right in front of your face, you'd be like, huh, maybe that is real. What about this one? What about this one? There's like there's a million fucking even if the secret comes out, it doesn't matter. It doesn't even mean shit because no one knows unless there's proof, 100% rock solid proof. Then you might get some people to believe it. But even if there's evidence like this is incontrovertible, you'll still have people out there like, oh, I don't think so. For ideological reasons, I don't think so.
To me, it logically follows that if you know that that's true, which I think it's self-evident, that the American news media, by and large, acts as a propaganda arm of America and the Congress and the political class and the billionaire class in this country. I think that it's just maybe that's too far of a conspiracy for some people, but I think that the news media nationally is in the pocket of politicians and decision makers and billionaires and CEOs. And
there's definitely a demonstrably collusion. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say in the pocket, but like, if not,
what do you like?
Pocket, then
if I'm paying you to every time you make an amazing atheist video talk about how great I am, you're in my pocket. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's what in the pocket means, and that's clearly what's going on. There's a quid pro quo going on between the government and the billionaire class, which owns the government, and the American news media, which is supposed to be the fourth estate. It's supposed to be a separate entity that monitors as closely as possible the truth and pursues stories of national interest, and honestly keeps people in power honest. That's really the function.
That's they're supposed to be like the fourth estate. That's like, oh man, we're gonna make sure that these powerful people don't get away with anything. We're going to make sure the government doesn't lie to the people, all these kind of things.
And the news media doesn't do that anymore. It's no longer an apparatus that seeks out injustice and seeks out imbalance and looks to report on that so that those things can be brought to the sunlight and changed. It's now a distraction tool. It's now a tool to keep you fucking scrolling through mindless bullshit. And even
when the news media does take on some sort of like powerful interest or something, it's always somewhere in the sphere of like, okay, but it's away from the real machinery. It's like in entertainment, or it's in sports,
or it's something that happens,
or something like that, or it's like let's throw someone under the bus that we already need to get rid of anyway,
But even under those auspices, like you take something like a big earth-shaking event that there's no way that they could bury, like 9/11. But there was massive collusion in how 9/11 was covered amongst the news media. There was just lockstep collusion between the news media and the government in terms of war policy post 9/11. You know what I mean? And so it's just like
in the lead up to the Iraq War and shit. Yeah,
right. It's incontrovertible to me that the news media is working as the propaganda arm for the ruling class.
You guys
sound
like
true,
dude. Well, here's the problem. On the idea that you can't trust the media, the Trumpers are right. The problem is that they then put their faith in something like even more, like this is the result of living in a post-truth reality. And you live in a post-truth reality because the media has failed you. If the news media was doing its job, you wouldn't be living in a post-truth world. You would still have faith in what the media reports. Why don't we have that faith anymore? The reason we don't have that faith anymore is because we can't trust them.
Right.
And the reason we can't trust them is because they're colluding with state power and with business interests. And this is not even controversial. Like, this is demonstrable. Universities have done studies on this and shit. Like, they've discovered it. You could still find good information some places. It's not reported to you by the media apparatus, but it's out there. And like, meta-analyses have been done. They lie to you. Sorry, it's true. It's not a conspiracy. It's not Trumper shit. We're not fucking saying like the media is dishonest, therefore trust an orange cretin, but the media is dishonest.
Yeah. And when you know that, like I do, and like I think a lot of people do, I think how do you not call into question their motive covering anything? Like, to go back to this, like the implications of stable, repeatable nuclear fission are huge. This is going to make trillions of dollars for. Well, is it fusion or fission? Because it's
fusion now. It's fission is what we've traditionally used, which is splitting the atom to get
now
we're merging them together, which is like they've been able to fuse them, but they've never been able to actually use it as like a power source because it takes more energy to do it than they can get from it. But now they're saying they've made the first steps towards reversing that, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to change a whole aspect of the world. This is quite possibly the fallback from fossil fuels.
Right. Well, the thing about fission versus fusion is this makes the case of people who want us to switch to nuclear a lot stronger, because in the case of fusion, I mean, in my opinion, a lot of the anti-nuclear arguments still hold pretty strong. But in the case of waste, fusion does not create the same sort of waste that fission does. So it's a much cleaner energy source. It's almost like, in some people's eyes, the ultimate clean energy source.
It can also, as I understand it, be scaled down way easier as well. Like,
I'm not sure about that, but that could be true as well.
You could power a car with it. You could power planes with it. You could power jets with it. You could power a bus with it. Like, this is something that could drive the economy in the foreseeable future, and it would be way less damaging to the planet than fossil fuels would be. And so, when something like this rolls out, I just kind of assume that, like, this was sat on until it was ready to be hatched.
What arguments? You mean the caveman arguments against fire? Let me see. Where's that? Where'd it go? Here we go. It keeps moving as I try to click on it. All right. So, I mean, the thing about it is, like, yeah, man's discovery of fire was definitely worth it in the long run. But when the fire got out of control, sometimes, like, a village burned, some stuff, maybe a forest burned. But, if this gets out of control, the results are going to be considerably more devastating than what would happen if a fire got out of control. So you have to once again ask, like, what is it worth the risk? Maybe the answer is yes, maybe it's no, but don't just wave off any concern like, you're just a caveman against fire or whatever. It's not. And I don't think that's fair. I think you need to be a little bit more serious minded about the subject than that.
You know what? I'll admit it. I don't like, because I don't think of reality, at least to the best of my ability, from a human-centric perspective. Like, I don't think humans matter a fucking whit. From what we know about the universe and how expansive it is and how probable it is there's different types of life all over the fucking we're an insignificant little shit stain in the face of the totality of nature on this planet. And that's really what we're talking about. We are prioritizing human advancement over nature. And in that way, I think that, I don't think that human beings should have ever fucking harnessed fire. There's no question that the fucking planet and ecosystems on this planet, the oceans, would be better off if we hadn't. No. So I don't think human beings are just naturally more important than the earth that we come from. In fact, I think that the totality of biological life on this fucking planet is way more important than human beings.
TJ, here's your last 100 for the furry episode. Thanks. Appreciate you.
Hey, yeah, he made good on his word.
I basically agree with you. I agree with you up to a point. The point where I diverge is that I'm okay with saying, because of all this subjectivity involved, that my personal sort of affinity for humanity, at least in some regards, is enough to be like, okay, yeah, I'm rooting for the humans over other life forms, because I'm one of them. I'm on team human. I'm okay with that. But I mean, to the universe, we're nothing. I mean, the universe has no system of priorities or values, and I mean, clearly nature has suffered from our encroachments. I mean, like, that's just.
I mean, in the long haul, in the face of nature, we're nothing. Like, the dinosaurs ruled the planet for fucking millions more years than we've been here, and it looks like they're gonna outlast. They're a more significant event in the strata of this planet than we're gonna be at some point.
I mean, at least in terms of duration, I mean, our impact has been incredible. Our impact is probably going to be the thing that
is the largest in a short amount of time. But
so like humanity is one of two things is going to happen. Humanity is either going to achieve total mastery of all elements and, become godlike in nature, or we're going to destroy ourselves. And which of those things is more likely? Definitely the second one. Like, I see way more potential on that path than I do the potential of godhood. But hey, reach for the fucking stars. You know what I mean?
Yep. Paul would be like the guy in Avatar and betray his race. You bet your fucking ass I would. So would a lot of people. I'm sorry to tell you that, like, as sanctimonious as humans can be.
Oh, I would side with the blue people too, because they're pretty. I mean, like, at that point, to me, we're talking about intelligent life that's, like, obviously come to a far better equilibrium with its environment than us. And I would say, like, oh, this species is clearly better than us. So,
they're as they're presented in Avatar, they have way more fulfilling lives than we can imagine humans do at the time. Humans are this huge industrial spacefaring corporation, basically, at this point, which we know how those are run. There's about 25 people that make millions off of it, and then the rest of everybody else is basically a slave. You're basically a wage slave.
No porn or weed. Wait, they literally could connect to the planet through like
They could
mystical
fuck
like
the planet,
Yeah,
bro.
and
They
they
don't
literally-
need porn.
and they're fucking each other all the time, and they walk around butt ass naked, and like yeah, they're happy where they're at. I mean, like there's
Human beings hate themselves. Like I'm just one. I get everybody, like all the chimps fucking get angry and point at me because I say the quiet part loud. Human beings fucking hate themselves and have since the fucking beginning of time. We hate being human beings. We hate being here. We hate dealing with the bullshit that we have to deal with in order to get through the fucking day. We're out of sync. And so this idea that like I'm putting like nature above humanity, I think most people, if given the Na'vi choice, would become Na'vi in a fucking instant. And they'd oh yeah, let me join the flower people that look at them.
I mean,
You know
the
what I mean?
Na'vi. I mean, like the Na'vi is presented in the film, and you could say it's like maybe an overly flattering depiction of what is possible with life, but like still, it's there's no. I mean, they're obviously living in a paradisical fucking state. So
Fuck
yeah.
that noise, bro. I'm not trying to live in a dirty ass tree, dude. It's not a dirty ass tree. If you gotta watch the movie, bro.
I mean, have you even seen Avatar? Because like everything is portrayed as like pretty pristine and lush and wonderful.
Yeah, there's no
Like-
disease, there's no famine. Everybody's in harmony with everything. There's no
Like,
plastic choking the waterways.
To kind of speak, I think, to your point, a lot of people, there was like a symptom that happened after that movie came out where people who became so enamored with the world of that movie that they just were like depressed by reality. And they're like, I just want to be on Na'vi, man, please.
Yep.
Like, all right. Yeah, I can see it.
Because it portrays something that we all long for. It's taboo to admit it. But there is something about humans that longs for the wild. There's no way that there can't be. There's no way that in the short amount of time human beings have been living in a quote unquote civilized way that we have shaken our desire to be underneath the moon and in the jungles and stalking the savannas and shit. That's what our bodies were made to do. And so deep undercurrent in every fucking human being is a huge, massive disdain for the modern world. We look at it, we understand that we're shitting up the planet. We understand that we're destroying animals. Nobody doesn't know this. But it's taboo to speak against it because, oh, it's such a fucking leap in quality of life. Is it really? Like, is it honestly? That's really the question. I guess an argument could be made that it is, but for what, like, human beings are aware of their own impact on shit.
I think we're also drawn inexorably towards like power and convenience, though, too. I think that's also a big part of like the human animal is like, want better, make better, everything be better if do this, I mean, I think we're way more obsessed with like our status than other animals are, because I've like I see how like my pets just for example react when like they're injured or something. They're not sitting there like, oh fuck. It's like sometimes you don't even know until you see like, oh, he's limping a little bit, what's going on with that? But like otherwise you'd never know. Because they're just oh yeah, that's just a status report from my body. But human beings are way more obsessed with like everything's got to be ideal. Everything needs to be like this. This needs to be clean. This needs to be like this way. Da, 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 da.
I would argue that is more of an outcropping of the introduction of this world sweeping meme we call civilization. I think that human beings are not necessarily driven by a constant fucking need to ultra improve. I think a lot of that was introduced because I think every civilization that ever has existed has widely hated itself. The average person that lived in those civilizations hated the way that it was set up because it's the same fucking story over and over again. Huge underclass of people that are basically used like chattel slaves. And then a bunch of rich fucks at the top fucking bathing in fucking lamb's milk and all kinds of weird bullshit, living in abject, unapologetic, destructive luxury. And that's the way it's always been. And I think that human beings have a built-in hatred for that, and that desire to like, oh, we got to change, got to make better. I think that it's more of a like we're trying to endlessly remake civilization when civilization is the problem. Unmaking it.
I think it emerged in the first place because human beings were not content with what they were doing then. I don't think any. I think the big difference between what you're thinking and what I'm thinking is I don't think people were any happier being hunter gatherers, roaming the savannah, or any of that shit. I think they were just as miserable, and they were just like, God, there's got to be a better way. I think that dissatisfaction is the driving force, or one of the driving forces, of the human animal, and probably a big reason behind the emergence of technology and the continuing development thereof. I don't think we're going to find it, though.
I don't think we're going to get there either. I mean, I think we're very much but I don't know. I think there was a different, like, I don't know that if you could go back and poll prehistoric man, if they would have the same type of ennui and dissatisfaction that a modern person does.
Yeah,
I think that I think that because I think that in a lot of ways their days were filled with the idea of survival from morning till noon until night. You know what I mean? The whole cycle was survive another day, and a lot of people think, oh man, that's a horrible way to live,
but they're living in the moment, at least.
Right? They're living in the moment. They're not overwrought with all of these fucking horrible emotional problems, at least to the extent that we are. I think that in a lot of ways modern mental health problems are an outcropping of civilization. I think that, like, you know, depression is probably largely a physiological and mental response to being caged and cooped up as a wild animal that, you know what I mean, for most of our existence we could roam where we fucking want and piss where we want and shit where we want, and fucking we had a real freedom from the constraints of corporate America, corporate industry. You know, we could do. Yeah, there were hardships out there, maybe other human tribes that we'd have to fight, but if we really wanted something, we could just go there. Nobody owned that land up there except the ones that could hold it. That's really how I think human brains evolved to live. And now we're all sitting in cubicles. We're cooped up in our tiny apartments all day, and we're playing weird video games that overstimulate our brain, and we're watching movies that overstimulate our fucking, because we're trying to get that fucking dopamine hit.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at a lot of these movies and stuff too, it's kind of funny because a lot of the activities that you see are like, you know, I'm running around, I'm jumping, I'm fucking fighting this thing, you know. So it's like you could tell there is like this aspect of people that like does kind of miss that, like, oh man, I just want to be out doing that, but now I'll just watch it and get the mirror receptors going.
Right. And it's just like back, you know, say what you want about tribal times and nomadic times and whatever, but the dopamine hit was life back then. You know, we weren't seeking this like fulfillment in fantasy. Probably not, at least not to the extent that we do today.
We have no idea what human
was.
We have no idea what it was to be human in prehistory. I would just say to that,
that's not necessarily true.
I would just say to that, you know, like we don't know everything, but like, you know, you can look at modern hunter-gatherer tribes. I don't know if there's ever been a study done on like the happiness of those people, but I'd be interested to see it if there was.
Yeah, I mean, I would be interested to see it too. I think they would be driven by a different set of criteria than a modern person. So I don't know if happiness would mean the same thing.
I mean, like the problem is that even if you have a hunter-gatherer tribe at this point, they've definitely been in contact with modernity. So it's kind of like, you know, a little bit of a tainted sample, but you could probably still derive some ideas from it,
I guess. Yeah.
Anyway, so Best Picture Drama. This is the Golden Globe nominations. I was fascinated by these. I don't care about the Golden Globes. I want to make that clear, but I am interested to see their survival mechanisms in this changing time, because, you know, these award shows each and every season have gotten less and less popular, and I'm noticing a very different sort of tone and tenor to the sort of stuff that's getting nominated right now. Because on the Best Picture Drama, you have Avatar 2, Elvis, Fabelmans, Tar, and Top Gun Maverick. Now, I've never heard of Tar. Fabelmans is that little Spielberg thing, but everything else on there is a blockbuster hit. I mean, I assume Avatar 2 is going to be a blockbuster hit. I don't know yet. I haven't seen it. I don't think it's been like officially released wide yet. But Elvis and Top Gun Maverick, both huge hits and both like very mainstream movies. And Top Gun Maverick in particular, like Best Picture Drama, like really a Top Gun sequel. I mean, I haven't seen it, so maybe I'm selling it short, but like, you know, it seems to me like this is being done solely to fucking get people to watch these award shows by nominating popular fucking popcorn films and shit.
I mean, that's 100% it. we're living in an age now where like the Oscars, the Golden Globes, the Emmys, and all that shit used to have real like when I was growing up,
prestige.
Yeah, they used to have real prestige. They used to have real weight in culture. Like people would sit people would have parties and sit down and watch the Oscars. I used to do it every year. I used to fucking get a bunch of beer and get drunk and watch the Oscars with my friends and shit. It was just a big event because it was one of the only places we could go to see mass opinion on what is the best movie this year. What is the best, soundtrack this year. Now the internet does that. You know what I mean? Those things are sussed out on the internet pretty easily. It's easy to look at the trends and see which movies most people are talking about. And these award shows are just kind of another voice in that fucking mass of voices now. Yeah. And so they really have to try and appeal to the viewership.
So you think then you kind of need to take more of like a populist route.
Right.
Because they can't be a standalone voice anymore because everyone has got some kind of voice, especially in these kind of matters, of entertainment.
Exactly.
Because this is where they really, I kind of wondered for a while, why are people so intense now about like entertainment arguments and stuff like that? But I think it's because it's one of the few places where people feel like they're really allowed to just cut loose and like just go fucking wild with like a fucking opinion anymore, Because it feels like in a lot of other spaces, like it's very stifling. So like entertainment seems to be like one of the places where people can really like, get very aggressive with their opinions. So I think that's why it's kind of like become this thing where like people are proud of like having intense entertainment opinions and like, fuck these Hollywood elites or whatever, or, like fuck this thing going on, or these people, or this trend in media, or this trope.
There's just like so many
pissed about it now.
There's so many different ways to get it now. It's like there's so many big websites that aggregate how your average person and how critics, like Rotten Tomatoes, how they feel about a movie. You can get this hit like there used to be one day a year where you could see like, hey, what were the kind of like, what's a good collection of the best movies that came out this year? You could argue about it till the day is long, but you really didn't get a definitive answer until the Oscars came
So it's like
around.
Informational, basically.
Right. They're no longer that definitive answer. Anybody that's a movie buff knows well before the Oscars even announced their fucking top candidates what the best movies of the year were. It's become like
movies. What about Silence of the Lambs?
Yeah, Silence of the Lambs is definitely a horror movie, and
it's definitely won some Oscars.
Yeah.
I mean, like anybody who if you can watch that movie and tell me it's not a horror movie, then you don't know what a horror movie is. Like, come on.
I don't know anybody who would make that argument, but yeah,
I've heard people say, "Oh, that's more of a thriller." It's like thriller is just a more marketable word for horror.
This idea that horror is one of the most malleable genres and that it melds really well with any other genre. Horror comedy works.
The thing about thriller is that, like, by and large, the term as it's used today is basically like when someone makes. I mean, honestly, it's way less, I think, stigmatized to put out a horror movie now. It seems like it's kind of finally getting some acceptance, but like, for much of like modern movie making history, when you put out a horror movie that was a little bit classier, they called it a thriller. Even if it was a horror movie, it's like, oh, they would describe it as a thriller and not use the word horror because they didn't want to attract, I don't know, they didn't want to attract a certain audience, I guess, or like a certain box office. And they realized that like, oh, this one needs to be marketed as a thriller because people don't want to admit that they're horror fans, I guess. And so they go see these movies that are well, it's not a horror movie. It's more like a thriller. But there's not really a fucking difference. Like, if you really look at these movies, like, they're sometimes a little bit better made, but honestly, not always. A lot of times they're actually worse and more generic. So I don't know.
The problem that I always have when you're talking about this whole, like, why horror movies are disrespected, it's because, like, if you look at the term thriller, it's like almost an all-encompassing term. Action thrills people. Suspense thrills people. All of these genres are part of the horror lexicon. Horror is a huge, broad category. And, like it is made up of all of those different types of subgenres. Like horror is a thriller. Horror is a suspense movie. Suspense movies are based on the principle of horror. They're based on the principle of, dread, creeping, building dread, and then a revelation of the ends of that dread. That's what a suspense movie is. That's a fucking horror movie.
But bringing it back to our discussion about primitivism, I mean, like, I think that just like I was saying that, like, a lot of times you watch these movies and you see people doing all these activities, running and jumping and fighting, like you also see like the other flip side of that in a lot of these horror movies. A lot of the fears are very primal things, and it's like fear of the dark.
Ultimately, that's
unknown,
the only
fear of the thing going bump in the night. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that's also part of the human experience prior to, modernity, I guess.
That fear of the darkness is 100% what every other fear that we experience is based on. It's the grandfather of all fears. What is lurking beyond the edges of my perception? And it was and the reason why it's such a strong fear is because evolutionarily speaking, it was a real fear for humans for a lot of their existence. There was shit out there in the woods that wanted to drag them away and eat them.
Think about the jump scare, the most primitive, I think, form of like a scare. It's just exactly that. It's literally just something comes shambling out of your, out of your perception into it very suddenly and very aggressively. Like, you don't even know that this is here, and bam, it's here to kill you. It's like, oh, fuck.
And that whole, you just look at all the aspects of horror, something that comes from beyond your understanding. That's the darkness. Like, that's something that lives in the darkness that you've never laid your eyes on. That it tracks right back. Somebody being possessed by something. That something comes from an otherworldly place in the dark boundaries beyond your perception. It's
and
being
I love
afraid
how
of the dark.
I love kind of as humanity has expanded and grown, technologically and in our awareness of our surroundings. Like, our horrors have gotten bigger, up to that level of the cosmic horror, where now it's like, because it was like, used to be like, oh shit, is there some kind of fanged tooth thing behind that bush, or something like that? And then it's like, is there like some kind of like ghost haunting me from the next world over? And now it's like, is there some sort of like, monstrous, horrible consciousness at the heart of the fucking universe manipulating things in its favor? And, it's like, so the horrors keep getting bigger as as we've shined more and more light on things. We're still like, we've just found more sophisticated shadows to leap in terror from. So that's kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, you look at like horror movies like Alien, set in space and stuff. That's the darkness of the unexplored regions of space. That's being afraid of the dark. What's out there? What lives in the dark? What if we brought it back with us? Like, just any kind of trope within horror is traceable directly back to darkness. And so darkness is the ultimate primeval fear. And that's why it exists in so many different movies. I mean, dude, there are fucking comedies, straight out comedies that use jump scares and shit in them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, horror is ubiquitous. Horror, I think that's why it gets undermined, because there's certain genres of horror that are really revel in the gore and the violence and the being scary constantly, that do get overlooked at the award shows. But they remain super popular no matter what. The killer chasing you never runs, but always catches up, comes from our ability to constantly chase prey and other hominids. I mean, yeah, well, it's all, and once again, it's all tied to the dark. The killer has abilities that you don't. He has knowledge that you don't. No matter where you go, he could be in the dark corner. In fact, he is in the dark corner. It's just that being afraid of the unknown, being afraid of the unexplored, and the unperceivable.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting comment too, because it's like, you think about humanity as like exhaustion hunters, and how we would like stock, like, I mean, that must kind of, I mean, like to like a gazelle or something, we were Jason, because it's running as fast as it can. Every time it looks back at us, it's like, oh, they're walking at a leisurely pace. But what they don't realize is we're going to keep after them no matter what. So it's like, to them, it's like, goddamn, I keep running away and they're just walking at me, and I don't understand how they keep catching up. It's like, because we're not stopping. You're running a certain distance, and then be like, okay, I got away. It's like, nope, we're still walking towards you. You can even think of it like It Follows being like the most extreme example of that sort of like the dogged pursuer that's not really rushing at you, but they never stop coming.
Yeah. I mean, to me, it's that whole being stalked thing, it definitely has an obvious connection to how we hunted and stuff, because we have a brain that's capable of empathy. And so hunters probably used to empathize with a deer as they were hunting it down. Like, look at how doggedly it still runs from us, even though it has no chance. It's already dead. It's been dead for 3 days, and it's just prolonging its fear and anxiety and angst needlessly. And what would it be like to be in that position? What would it be like to be on the other end of that and have something be stalking you? So it's all connected. It's an interesting thing that I don't know if I've ever talked about it on one of these shows, but it's one of my favorite things to talk about when it comes to movies and shit. Because if you take that premise, fear of the dark is the greatest driver of movies, especially a whole genre of movies. Like, how much more art was directly started or inspired by that extreme feeling? You could imagine that some of the first cave paintings were made in an effort to desensitize ourselves from the things that we feared out there.
I think
The mastodon that charges and tramples you to death, the fucking saber-toothed cat that fucking is waiting around the corner that you don't see, ready to pounce on you because it saw you coming.
Well, it's interesting to me that so many of the things that are the cornerstones of art remain even to this day like very primal things. It's like fear. I'm scared of this thing that might be coming for me that I don't know about.
Right.
Or this, this dread that something's going to happen, that there's something brewing against me. So there's that fear. There's comedy, which is like a very strange emotion, but like very guttural, because it's like something's either funny to you or it isn't. And no amount of explaining something that's not funny to you is going to make it funny. And no amount of someone telling you something's not funny is going to make it unfunny. Like, funny is just funny.
Laughter itself, I think, is based. It's like it's a mechanism to let off anxiety and steam after a fear turns out not to be valid.
There's definitely a strong anxiety element to laughter. Even I mean, all laughter is nervous laughter, even like the most joyous and shit. Because like you listen to the stuff that you look at the stuff that makes people laugh, and it's always stuff that's tethered to like insecurities or fears or worries or malcontentions and various things of that nature. Cocaine Bear is a serious drama with all the emotional highs and lows one expects from fine filmmaking. I expect nothing less from Cocaine Bear. I'm pinning all of my hopes for the future of cinema on the lapel of Cocaine Bear. So
true.
Does this third super chat of mine finally show up? Yes.
It showed.
It showed up. There it is. You happy? You happy now? Paul, I believe you had some news for us as well.
I do have some news, TJ. We may as well cover it here.
I suppose so.
Look, I didn't really turn it that way, but we had a very conspiracy-laden talk earlier in the episode. Here's some more for you.
Paul's like, through no fault of mine, things got rather conspiratorial earlier.
We held hands and walked down conspiracy lane together, TJ.
I know.
You could have pumped the brakes at any time, man. You fanned the flames.
I mean,
TJ.
we happen to be talking about areas of conspiracy that I think are onto something. I don't know about this one. I'm not convinced of the Kennedy, of the grassy knoll or whatever, but
you have to understand that, like, and this will go into it, but let me just read this, because there's some definitely some shit that went on with Kennedy's assassination that we aren't being told, because
that's pretty normal.
There was supposed to be a declassification of this information in 2017, but Trump pushed it back to 2021, and then Biden pushed it back to 2022 and beyond.
There's something where, so there is demonstrably something that they're like, we don't want them knowing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, that does smell a little funny, I guess.
So at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. on December 6th, Ferdinand Armandi, a JFK assassination history buff and titular member of Miami-based consulting firm Ben Dixon, no, who cares? He presented the poll findings. That's a third of Americans believe that the CIA had a huge hand.
Yeah, 31% said the CIA was responsible of 2,000 respondents. I don't know how they were selected or anything like that. I don't know if it was just 2,000 random people, but the fact that any sampling size of that size would have 31% of people being like, "Yeah, it was the CIA." The CIA.
It's significant. It says that it was 31% said the CIA was far ahead of other answers. The mafia, which is another popular conspiracy theory,
13%.
the mafia had 13%.
Soviet
Union
6%.
Another popular conspiracy theory, 6%.
Soviet Union assisting Lee Harvey Oswald, which I actually have heard that one.
Well, Lee Harvey Oswald was a CIA agent. That's actually out now. He was involved in Cuban operations that the CIA put on. This is months before he killed Kennedy.
Yeah.
So months before he killed Kennedy, Lee Harvey Oswald was working for the CIA and infiltrated a pro-Cuban protest movement in the United States, and then months later killed the president. So, I don't know. There's a little bit of a CIA fingerprint on the killing, but of course, we can't know for sure. The other main focus of the poll was the scheduled release of the final batch of JFK assassination records. Under a law the United States Congress unanimously passed in 92, all JFK assassination files held by the government were supposed to have been released October 2017. But then President Donald Trump delayed that release until October 2021, when President Joe Biden delayed the release again until December 15th of this year at the request of the CIA and FBI, on the grounds that releasing the remaining files represented identifiable harm to the national interest.
All right. I don't really want to I don't want to give credence to this and stuff, but I mean, that seems a little weird.
Seems a little bit weird, doesn't
I mean,
it?
even the fucking, just the fact they're like, what is it? What is it? Just show it. Like, I want to see now.
And one way or the other, people are pretty unanimous in the wanting Biden to make good on releasing the records.
Yeah,
71% of the same respondents said that they had an interest in seeing these records, despite how they felt about the conspiracy behind it.
Yeah, I'm with them. Let me see them. I want to see what these fucking documents say.
Judge John Tunheim, a former chair of the Assassination Records Review Board, also spoke, calling on President Biden to release the last of the JFK files. Morley wrote on Substack about the December 6th press club event. Bradford and attorney Larry Schnapp also discussed the foundation's lawsuit against Biden and the National Archives for failure to enforce the JFK Records Act. So, yeah, a pretty broad poll. About a third of people believe that an arm of our own government, a bureau of our own government killed the president. And 70% of people, really want to see what fucking is going on with it.
I don't know if I don't think I'm part of that 31% as of yet, but I'm definitely part of that 71% that would like to see. Thanks. Let me see them.
So there's that. Here's another fun one. I guess metaverse. Everybody thought metaverse was going to be the word of the year. But turns out,
why it wasn't? Because the guy trying to make it word of the year is the least charismatic human being. Like, thank God, too.
Yeah, he's a fucking.
Can you imagine? Because look how good Elon Musk gets by on having just like a sliver of charisma. Not even a lot, just a little sliver of charisma and a fortune, and people love him. The fact that they hate Mark Zuckerberg so fucking much just shows you that he couldn't even dredge up a sliver of charisma. The guy is like a fucking desolate wasteland of a human being. The fact that he went out there to try to personally sell this, like, dude, you're not a salesman. Get Tom Hanks or something, you fucking moron.
Yeah, seriously, hire one of these soulless actors to shill your fucking thing.
Yeah.
Don't ever step out in front. You're not gonna be, just because they made a movie about. I think that's what it is. He's like, but they made a really popular movie about me. Dude, the point of that movie was what a withdrawn sociopathic piece of shit you were. You know what I mean? It wasn't like everybody came out and they were like, man, I really like Mark Zuckerberg now. It's like, no, that was a hit piece on you, dipshit. Like, people don't like you.
Here's the thing. If they had got that guy, well, I don't remember the guy's name who played him.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, Jesse Eisenberg. If they got Jesse Eisenberg's character version of Mark Zuckerberg to come out and sell Metaverse, it would have been better.
It would have been, well, yeah, because there would have been an actual actor behind it. Yeah. Like, if you look at Mark Zuckerberg, because there's tons of there's way more Mark Zuckerberg speaking out there than there is runtime in that movie with Jesse Eisenberg speaking. So if you look at it, Jesse Eisenberg is actually better at just being fucking Zuckerberg than Zuckerberg is. Like, even when he's being off-putting, antisocial, sociopathic, he's still more palatable than. So maybe that's a hit against Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal. He didn't go creepy enough.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just, I mean, but like, to be fair, could anyone really portray, I mean, would you really want them to either? Because like, you'd be, I mean, like, the thing about it is he's so uncharismatic and uninteresting that you wouldn't even want to watch the movie at that point. So
yeah, in the movie, okay, so if you remember, the movie ends with the termination of the deposition that's going on. And to bring it all full circle, after all these years and all the billions of dollars made, Zuckerberg sits down and tries to follow his ex-girlfriend from college, revealing that he has a little bit of a human soul in there, that he's like the rest of us. Maybe he's hung up on this girl for whatever reason. And, that humanizes him. Mark Zuckerberg has none of that. There's no drop of humanity in his actual existence. So it's not shocking to me that Metaverse lost.
I have looked into the eyes of lizards and spiders and other creepy, crawly things that go bump through the night. And I can tell you, I've seen more humanity in the eyes of those things than I see in the eyes of this supposed man named Mark Zuckerberg. So that's why Goblin Mode is word of the year and not Metaverse.
Brent Spiner could have played Mark Zuck. There is infinitely more character in Brent Spiner's portrayal of Data than there is in
I'm going
Mark
to tell you this.
Zuckerberg.
Not only is Data is the most human character on Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I've heard this argument made. Yeah, I think you're probably right.
Because everyone else is so sure of themselves and confident, and Data
He's
is
seeking,
like,
right?
Data is the one who's like actually seeking like personal development stuff. Like, it's so weird that Star Trek's always talking about like, we need to improve ourselves, but then everyone in the show is actually already perfect. So it's like, they're not pursuing being better. They're just already perfect. So like, what?
Metaverse, obviously not a popular concept, but this year it's Goblin Mode is the word, which I guess it's implied
that's got to be a Zoomer thing, because I don't think I've once been like Goblin Mode.
Well, I mean, it definitely, I understand. It's definitely something a state that I understand. So we'll talk about it. Regarding Goblin Mode
to me, yeah.
It wrote that it's a type of behavior which is unapologetically self-indulgent, lazy, slovenly, or greedy, typically in a way that rejects social norms or expectations.
This should be called TJ mode.
Yeah. See,
goblins.
You're permanently in Goblin Mode, you know?
Goblins are permanently in TJ mode, you mean?
Sure, yeah. I guess that works. But yeah, no, that's the and I think that a lot of people, I think Goblin Mode appeared during the pandemic.
Cool.
Is when people really started talking about Goblin Mode. Because I think a lot of people, myself included, went kind of Goblin Mode when the pandemic happened and the lockdowns were in place. Just kind of like, fuck you, got mine. I'm gonna live here and hole up in my fucking house and fuck the rest of you. You can all die in the streets. You know what I mean?
Hey, that's another thing against your primitivist thing, because those were the happiest times of my life. See, so it's not really modern society. It's not. It's the stress of going out and doing stuff. If it was just like, I'm gonna be in this little air conditioned box and just chill.
Well, my argument against that would be like it was going out into modern society and experiencing it that was keeping you at home in the first place. It was your strong desire to not deal with any of the institutions that have been created to.
Right. So that's really the problem. Living in a little air conditioned box part is nice.
The argument is that that problem, that is the problem. Us trying to create some artificial construct that's better than nature at providing a sense of balance and peace in the mind of a human being and purpose to a
Yeah,
human
I'd say
being's
houses do a pretty good job of that. I'm down
I
with
don't
them.
know. I mean, I doubt that a lot of people would agree with you on that.
Really? I don't know.
Houses are houses are, you could, if you actually look at a house,
Yeah.
Owning a house is an almost constant source of angst and anxiety and oftentimes exploitation and disappointment. Like, owning a house doesn't mean you get to keep the house, doesn't mean you'll always be able to pay for the house, doesn't mean that, tomorrow some huge component of the house won't break down that's going to cost you even more of your time and labor and influence to fix. So you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but there's a lot less labor involved in maintaining that house than there is running around in the damn woods.
that doesn't mean that you, if had you been raised under those auspices, wouldn't feel more at home running around the goddamn fucking
Yeah, well,
woods.
I was raised in the house, so.
But it was that technology that allowed us to set up permanent settlements in places where being outside is really fucking fucked up.
I'm pretty sure we just need robot slaves. What could go wrong? It's all gonna be fine.
What could possibly go wrong? Let's see. Okay, so you know what,
so
dude?
Paul, you told me that this is pure, unmitigated cringe. So.
This is, I saw this months ago. This is, I'll cop to this. This is about 8 months old. This is a failed crypto startup that has long since tanked and failed. But this is really the best explanation that I can give as to why I didn't get into crypto at all. Because I find people that are into crypto they are pretty much just like this. But before we start, I got to go take a pee. So I'm going to pee real quick.
Right. I'm going to entertain.
Yes, you entertain.
People. I'll make my best half-hearted attempt at doing it. La da 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 da. How y'all doing? Let's see. It's modern technology that keeps TJ's shitty britches clean. Thank you. Yes, of course. Oh Lord, protect me from what I'm about to re-witness. Oh no, what are you talking about? Does TJ feel attacked? Always. I'm always attacked. Don't take a pee. That's gross. Yeah, you should give the pee. Douchebags and gym bros. Notice me, TJ. P. I notice you officially. TJ touched me appropriately. Damn it. I meant to touch you inappropriately. My bad. Still a better musician than Kanye. True. Chicago woman arrested for dismembering her landlord. Nice. Hey, you said it, not me. Let's go TJ mode. Oh, yeah. Make it catch on. TJ, it's means and methods that are why they won't release JFK info. What does that mean? What is means and methods? Oh, are you saying that like the stuff that they would release at this point would contain information that could help future assassins? Like it would describe too much of how the act of assassinating the president was accomplished and therefore it'd be dangerous to release? Is that the contention? I mean, I'll believe that when I fucking show it to me. So let me see it. Fuck that. Like it's already out. Like whatever means and methods were used, like new procedures have been implemented to fucking circumnavigate them at this point. Like they didn't fucking not shore up security. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to believe that there's still stuff that would be relevant in that document to that, if that's what you mean. Intelligence ways they collected and used info. Oh, so you're saying that the remaining documents would reveal too much about the means and motives of intelligence gathering and would therefore be a threat to national security in that respect? I don't give a shit. Fuck them. They need to figure out some new methods then. Let me see them fucking documents. I'm not overly sympathetic to the fucking intelligence industry. So like, yeah.
I think you know in your heart of hearts that the reason that they've fucking released those has really nothing to do with like direct national security and everything to do with the fact that our own institutions are implicated in facilitating the fucking murder of a president. That's what's in there. If anything else was in there, they would have fucking released it by now. You know what I mean? If it was just like, oh, Russia was, like they would have fucking used that long ago. But no, this is like the American government colluded in making sure that Lee Harvey Oswald had access to the president. And we helped plan it, or whatever the fuck ends up coming out. I don't know that they'll ever fucking release it.
I mean, I don't know how much longer they can delay, but I guess that in this country, it could be a very long time. They might just wait until everyone even remotely connected to it is dead. Maybe they're just waiting for Kissinger to die or something.
Yeah, so he doesn't like pipe up and tell us the real conspiracy behind it.
Yeah. TJ, read every segment. No, I'm not going to do it. All right, we're going to watch Cryptoland. This is an original video by some crypto bros out there from 8 months ago.
Yeah, this was like a crypto startup, and the whole point of it before we start, it was like they were going to buy an island with crypto money, and then they were going to have people that were, I guess, crypto owners could buy crypto that would allow them to own a piece of this island and have like a little mansion on it, and then they would build a town. Like the whole island would basically exist to facilitate crypto bros.
So this was basically, I mean, like this always fails, by the way. Pretty much anybody with a crazy social theory tries to go start like their own little mini society somewhere. And these things never fucking last or work.
This is what they've created here is the reason why I never touched fucking crypto, because every person that really passionately pitched me on crypto sounded, looked, or felt like this video. So it's distilled fucking cringe. Let's watch it.
Hi, this is me, Christopher, a crypto degen with a crush for crypto kitties. I'm on my way to Cryptoland, the #1 crypto.
Hey, can we pause this for a second? I'm just gonna go shoot myself really quick.
Yeah, could you go get a bottle of vodka? And take a fucking drink every time they say crypto
and just die.
Yeah.
I don't know what that intro was, but I feel like I need to go. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah. What is see? It's filled with all this fucking like crypto bro in jokes that you don't really like. Some of them, like that whole crush on crypto kitties or whatever the fuck. I don't even know what the fuck that means. But it's literally just laden with this cringy meme lord language that these crypto bros came up with, and all their little memes and all their little fucking sayings and shit. It is, I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this, it is absolutely 100% distilled cringe coming at you in full force. I just want you to listen. I just want you to listen, TJ. I just want you to listen.
I want to hear it again to see if I comprehended any better the second time.
All right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
Hi, this is me, Christopher, a crypto degen with a crush for crypto kitties. I'm on my way to Cryptoland.
Stop. What?
A crypto degen.
Okay, yeah.
With a crush on crypto kitties.
The fuck does that mean?
I have no fucking clue, bro.
Okay.
#1 crypto destination on Earth where crypto enthusiasts, or cryptolanders like we're called here, can meet with like-minded individuals in real life. And when Connie, the founder, told me that visionary investors could own a piece of this unique island, I smash bought one of the 60 exclusive parcels on the blockchain hills. That's how I became a king cryptolander. There it is.
Paul, oh my God, Paul, no. What have you done?
Dude, I told you this shit is 100% pure cringe.
Oh God. What a fucking nightmare.
Yep.
Oh,
by the way, apparently
proof, by the way, sometimes horror is not fear of the unknown. Sometimes it's fear of the very much known.
Yeah, for sure.
For instance, when this was unknown to me, I wasn't scared of it at all. But now that I know about it, it's fucking terrifying.
Apparently,
this failed, right? This failed and everyone died. Please tell me, Paul, this failed and everyone died.
I don't think everyone died, but this failed.
Well,
for sure.
That's I mean, that's better than nothing, I guess.
There was never an actual island. It never got to that phase. So you can
wait a minute. You mean to tell me that this harebrained scheme never got past the making of this animation?
No. It did collect a lot of money though before
before it's like, never mind.
Evaporated.
Hey, by the way, there's no island. Goodbye.
So let's
Dude, do we just need to come up? All right, retirement plan. Come up with fanciful bullshit. Literally tell a bunch of crypto bros that we're gathering crypto. We're gonna use crypto to build a rocket to the fucking literal moon.
yeah.
And we're all gonna live on the moon base and have sex with moon bitches, and just throw a bunch of crypto bro slang into it about the blockchain or this or that or the other. And then next thing we know, we bilk them out of fucking millions of crypto bucks. We cash in for real money while it's good and pumped. The company fails. And then, we're in the Cayman Islands or wherever the fuck, right? So, boom. I got it. The only one who gets a private island is us.
Yep. So yeah, let's
So, are you coming to the Vladimir Club party? Yeah.
So, guys, the Jurassic Park music, I know that you think like, wow, it's kind of like in Jurassic Park, but did you really like think about the comparison all that much? Because the whole point of Jurassic Park was it was a fucking nightmarishly bad idea about people who fucking used an island for like some really horrible purposes, and it all went out of control and everyone died. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember that happening in Jurassic Park? I don't think the message of Jurassic Park was, this is a good idea, you should probably do this. It was not that. Sorry.
No. So apparently, among other things, this whole thing was a scam. Like they stole a lot of these assets without attribution from people that had made them.
Smokenstein, I can only get so hard, buddy. Come on. Wait, you mean to tell me it was all a fucking big scam and they stole the money? Oh man. Shocking.
Well, not only that, but they stole all the assets that were used to make this 3D animation. Like they didn't own
all of the. Wait, so even the one thing that this did produce is just like some stolen redubbed shit.
Yeah, some other dude. They used a bunch of shit without attribution and without payment to the original artist that released it as a movie making tool or whatever the fuck.
Man, how rich are these people now? And because they didn't get too big like that one guy, they're probably still out free.
You're probably right about that.
Just for Cryptoland NFT holders, right? Yeah, man.
Have a nice day, sir.
Thank you. Connie?
Christopher, come here, buddy.
So the guy's name is Connie the Coin. I don't know. That's another crypto meme that I don't.
His name is Connie.
Connie the Coin.
E.
Yeah, Connie.
His name is Con. Like they're literally telling you in the ad, "Hey, it's Connie the convict, the untrustworthy coin. How you doing, buddy? I'm just ripping off some of these dumb fuck crypto bros, bro."
Connie.
All right.
Yeah, and this looks like it's about to go.
All right, so when we launch our crypto scam, we're gonna name our mascot Scammy. We're gonna just call it Scam Coin. Like, with Scam Coin, you could go to the fucking moon. Literally.
It reminds me of the fucking scam I pulled in Ultima Online when I was fucking 14 years old.
Oh my god, dude, you're right. It even involves an island.
Yeah, we have an island that you can come to.
You have to just retell the whole story because there's people in here who have not heard that shit.
So back in the 90s, there was one of the early MMOs and multiplayer, like for those that don't know what that is, World of Warcraft type of games. There was one called Ultima Online, but they basically allowed you to do anything you wanted. You could steal from people,
it was like
lie to people, cheat.
There was like all the rules that protect players from other players were not invented yet. So Wild West of a fucking MMO.
And so like when I first started playing the game, I was like, I'm gonna make bows and arrows and sell them to the shopkeep in town. And I was really doing that. I was like, chopping tree, get a log, make a bow and arrow. Oh, I failed that one. Chop the tree, chop. You know what I mean? And then what happened was I built up a whole inventory filled with bows. And honestly, it was probably only going to make me a couple hundred gold when I sold it all. It was really not that, I wasn't making a good return on this shit. Some fucking dude showed up out of nowhere, cast one spell on me that killed me. And then I had to sit there and watch as a ghost as he looted all my bows and ran away.
What a great fucking game.
And so I was like, now a lot of people, when they were playing this game, that was the point where they were like, fuck it, I quit. But for me, it was like a light bulb went on in my head. I was like, oh, I was like, so that's what kind of game this is. This is like the game of life. This is try and get as much shit, but do as little work as possible. Got it. Got it. And so I immediately became a thief and a scammer in this game. And the first big scam that me and my friends, these are my real life friends, all played this game. After I told them how great it was, they all had to. We would all, there was 3 of us that played together, and we would run this scam where I would go to the bank. I was always the point man at the bank because I was the best at talking, like spinning the line of bullshit. And so I was the point man at the bank, and the bank is where everybody hung out in this game. They would go to the main town, and if they were just chilling and not wanting to get killed and shit, you were pretty safe at the bank. And so a lot of people would hang out at the bank.
Yeah.
And so I'm there, and I would go like, hey, listen, are you sick of fucking the grind of this game? Because I know I was, but then I joined the Lords of the Black Shield. And they've got an island with a keep on it that has chests filled with everything that you need to play this game. Talk to me about joining. Whisper me to join. You know what I mean? And I would just spam that and run around the bank. And eventually, some starry-eyed middle noob that had some shit but had worked way too hard for it, like me, had just kept chopping the bows, you know what I mean? Kept chopping the logs. They would come up to me and go like, I want to join. I'm fucking sick of chopping trees, bro. I want to join. And I'd be like, all right, but listen. Come with me. We'd walk to somewhere where there, you know, our conversation wasn't being monitored. And I would say, look, we're giving you the fucking world here, basically. Like, we're keeping this stocked, and, you know, we're keeping it fucking updated for you. You have to show us that you're not just going to loot the place dry and sell all our shit and try and steal from us. You have to show us that you're as committed to us as we are committed to making your playtime worth more. Okay? You don't want to fuck around anymore. You don't want to worry. Like, if you die, you just come back to the island and just get a whole new suit of armor and go back out again. You know what I mean? That's what you want. You got to show us that you trust us. And the guy was, okay, what kind of show of trust do you need? And I fucking shot for the moon, bro. I was like, everything that you have. Like, right now, the problem is that everything that you have is worth everything to you, right? But I'm about to move you to a fucking island where that's no longer the case. It's just a shirt. It's just a fucking chainmail. It's just a sword. And you can go grab another one anytime you need it. Okay, that's what I'm offering you. So in order for me to know that you're truly into this, you got to strip butt naked right here. Open up your bank. Give me every fucking piece of gold you got. Every sword, everything you got. And, you know, most people would go like, fuck you. No. But I'm telling you, dude, with a minimal time investment, I'd get one of these fucking flounders on the hook. Like, all right. I'd start handing stuff over. And I'd catch them, too. I would go like, you're fucking, like, they would put all the shit in the trade window, and I'd be like, you're fucking with me, man. You're holding back. I can just tell. I'm not stupid. So no, thank you. And they'd be like, wait. Okay. You know what I mean? And here would come the big chest with all the fucking expensive shit and the gold in it. And so anyway, the whole scam ran like this. I would get them on the hook. I would get their goods. But then what you've got to do so you can keep running the scam is you got to get rid of them somehow. You got to get them to run off so that they're not immediately pointing out who done it. So you don't get their bad reputation. And so I would tell them, look, all right, you're a member now. All right, I believe you. You've stripped butt naked. You're ready to go to the island. So you're going to go right down to the docks. There's a boat waiting for you. And my associate, you've been screwed. And that I spelled it UBEN space SCROOD. You've been screwed, right? It just looked like a fantasy name. And that was my friend's name. And he would be waiting at the dock, and he would put them on a boat and take them off and drop them off in the wilderness somewhere so that they couldn't, you know what I mean? So they couldn't tattle. So we could keep running the scam. And so it was beautiful. And that's basically what this is. Right down to the character name. It's not You've Been Screwed this time. It's Connie the coin.
It's Connie the coin. Instead of You've Been Screwed,
Yeah,
it's
You've
Connie
Been
the
Screwed.
coin. Dude, Paul, if only you had the wherewithal to do your scam in real life, you could have been whoever the fuck these rich,
I know.
gone crypto bros are.
I know. It's a great like I just couldn't do. I have too much of a conscience. I have a roaring gorilla of a conscience. So
Oh man,
it's
too
just
bad.
a shame. I know.
Too bad because,
But not for Pixels.
Apparently,
though.
it works in real life too. So there you go.
Pixels. I don't have a conscience when it comes to Pixels. The video games that allow me to be amoral or video like I do that every time. You know what I mean? I'm always the bad guy first if I'm allowed to be a good guy or a bad guy. You know what I mean? Like that's where I go to get my sociopathic tendencies out. But anyway, yeah. So here's basically the updated 2022 version of that scam
But IRL,
but in
sort
real
of.
life, IRL,
Sort of in real life, I guess, because there never really was an island, but I guess there never really was for you either. So
No, there really wasn't. There really wasn't.
Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah, 50,000 blocks at least. Been waiting for you since consensus. What are you, a pending transaction or what?
Well, I guess I'm confirmed now. Ready to become a Cryptoland maximalist. This is crazy.
Paul, you know what even
Sir,
Paul,
Well,
stop for a
going
second.
to crypto.
Hold on. Yeah.
You know what would even been funnier, dude?
What?
You should have just fucking had some kind of like, you should have found some garbage island somewhere and like put like a shack on it and just dropped all these dudes off. Like, here you are with your
It
brothers.
costs too much.
Yeah.
See, the only downside to that is we would have to buy the fucking shack and we would have to maintain the shack and shit. And that would,
It's just so funny to me to think of all of them get like huddled around in this shack naked with no resources. Like, yeah, it's a little sparse right now, but pretty soon we're gonna be back with some primo armor and shit. You guys just wait,
This is unbelievable. And this made hundreds of thousands of dollars. This had a bunch of people and a bunch of buzz when it came out. So this is
I'm
not
gonna look
just
this
some
up
joke.
and see if I can like find what happened.
There's a
to the
bunch
people
of
who did
videos
this.
on YouTube of people breaking down exactly the crypto news people all broke down what happened to this, and this was a big meme in the community like a while ago. So
Yeah,
this is a well-known thing that we're covering here tonight.
Cryptoland, the hodlers of last resort.
Oh, brilliant. Hey, stacking sats like crazy, right?
Honey Badger don't care.
We are gonna make it.
Honey
Honey Badger don't care. God damn.
They just have people
AIDS.
like hollering memes out and shit.
Aha, meme. Pointing Spider-Man meme.
It's like a place.
Bojax.
It's like a place where memes come to life, bro.
Just came, and this was a great site to walk into. Was it though?
Was it really though?
Dude, I just noticed he's wearing a fucking Bitcoin shirt. That's totally absurd.
It's everywhere. Just look at all the fucking shit. This island is like somebody's nightmare.
The community's loving it, like on Twitter. Can't wait for you to give me a tour, Connie.
What do you want to see first, Christopher?
I don't know. Let's start with the best.
No, I always keep the best for last. Let's go leave your luggage in your home first, and then I'll show you around. All the other King Cryptolanders have been arriving from all corners of the world. When we get to the blockchain hills, you're gonna understand what I meant by first.
The fact that people fell for this shit, man. Oh my god.
Yep.
Oh, there's an island where everything is great. You're gonna have a mansion. It's a paradise. Like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
It literally is. The more I think about it, the more it is. It's Paul's old Ultima Online scam, dude. It really is. The island never existed. The promises
is there
are
even one
extravagant.
difference? Is there even a single difference?
Not in the hustle, no. I mean, there's this one's not based on a video game. It's in real life.
Do you know where You've Been Screwed is these days? Because maybe he's a crypto guy now, because
maybe so. Yeah, maybe it was You've Been Screwed what done it.
Style man. Hey, Martin, please get us a car, would you?
Yes, sir.
Everybody is here. Carolyn, here he is.
Hi.
Hi, Mr. Adams. Nice to see you, sir. Did you have a good flight?
Oh, yes. Excellent. Thanks for
I
asking.
am the robot that checks you into Cryptoland.
I mean, all of these are horrible, uncanny valley monstrosities.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, like, look, you really start to appreciate, you watch some of these really like low budget CG animations, you really do kind of appreciate like what Pixar can do, even if it's all looking very samey these days.
Yeah, because this looks like bargain basement bootleg Pixar is what
right.
This
And
looks
then
like.
Honestly, like a lot of it's not too bad, but like you look in their eyes and they're so fucking just like soulless and devoid of life, and I don't know what little like minuscule touch is just missing that makes it work, but it does not work.
Yep.
Great. Here are your keys.
Not your keys, not your bitcoins. Seriously?
Your keys, your Bitcoin. Not your keys, not your Bitcoin.
Where do you
What's going on? I don't understand. I don't understand.
There's
I don't
some
understand.
that's some meme. That's some fucking crypto bro meme.
I don't understand what's happening. I'm scared. This was done in Baby's first animation studio, LMAO.
It's really bad. I couldn't, I'm not gonna shit on it. I couldn't do it probably, but this is definitely not a high budget production. They didn't really put a bunch of money into this.
I mean,
sure.
I've definitely seen worse and shit, but yeah. I mean, like the thing is that it's doing something that really like it's like low budget, but it's trying to look higher budget, but it's not willing to put in the real work to get there. They should have just done this more stylized in an easier to do style, but they tried to capture this like Pixar essence, and in the process of doing that, they look just like nightmarish because everything looks uncanny as fuck.
Yep.
come up with these crazy ideas?
I'm not going to tell you where.
Sir, the Lambo's ready.
What?
The Lambo.
Paul, I don't even want to exist anymore, Paul. I'm sorry. I'm ready. Let's return to Monkey. You've convinced me. None of your arguments convinced me, but showing me this convinced me.
Yeah, I told you.
I'm ready to strip butt naked and fucking run through the woods. Where
You and everybody else. Dude.
Point to the goddamn woods, man. Just point me them woods. Better yet, is there some kind of island I could go to? I know I can't take this back. Seen the whole thing, but Food Fight had better animation than this. No, it didn't. Go back and watch. You're wrong.
Yeah, Food Fight. Yeah, this is definitely like slightly, like way
you're
better.
You're misremembering how bad Food Fight is, dude.
Yeah,
Food
so
Fight.
let's see.
Yeah, Food Fight is definitely worse. Sorry.
We don't have to watch the whole thing, but let's see what, because it's in chapters here. So we can go to the Blockchain Hills. That's where the mansion is. It's not that great. There's the hub with a pool of coins. There's a crypto restaurant.
10K pizza.
Walk of Fame.
What's this long section? The Crypto Beach. I want to see the Crypto Beach. Show me a little of that.
Yeah, the Crypto Beach. I think they sing a song on this beach too.
Oh,
so
God.
You picked a real cringy one. Here you go. They are. They're doing the Macarena.
I have no commentary.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know what to say. I mean, like, I just literally am. I can't
imagine
even believe,
being one of the people. Like, what were they doing? Like, were there 11-year-old crypto bros that they were scamming for shit?
I think that they're mentally 11 years old, maybe. I am perplexed and horrified, and I have no idea how, like, people could possibly have like recorded this stuff and looked at this and been like, yes. And then the fact that this actually got people, that people watched this piece of fucking unwatchable, horrible, nightmarish shit and were like, yes, I want to give money to this.
Yes.
I mean, like, wow. Okay.
is like, I don't mean to talk shit about your people, TJ, but this is like, I feel like it's giving me ADHD watching this.
Yeah,
the way this is presented, it feels like it wants me to have ADHD. And it
feels
wants
like
me. Yeah.
y'all are late to this cringe. We already know that. We've said this before. But you know what? Okay, we put a pin in it. We're the retrospective people, I guess, on this. But like, this is insane. I've never seen or heard of this before. I missed it.
Yeah.
And
a lot of people did.
It's blowing my mind just how fucking awful it is. I mean, like, usually I can find something to say about something, but other than just like, this is painful, this is agony, this is horror, this is a fucking nightmare come to life.
This is brilliant.
This is gonna haunt my dreams forever. I mean, I don't know what I could say beyond that. That's where I'm at with it.
This is brilliant, TJ. This is
brilliant. Apparently it is, because it made a bunch of money.
So fuck Cryptoland. We've cringed enough. Let's take a look at some unhinged Jordan B. Peterson tweets, TJ. Gotta have some Jordan Peterson tweets, recent ones too.
Amen.
And see what Jordan Peterson's been up to. And aren't we doing something for me on New Year's Eve, TJ? Did I hear it right through the grapevine?
Yeah, you did. So we're going to announce this to you guys. You guys are the first to hear about it. You 751 people watching live and all you people watching later. We're going to do a special event on New Year's. We're going to ring in the new year with Jordan Peterson. We're going to do the Jordan Peterson New Year's Gauntlet, but it's a patrons only event. So if you want to join the Patreon before that, you want to see it, you got to be a member of our Patreon. So Jordan Peterson, New Year's Gauntlet. We're going to face 6 hours of the man, and we're going to ring in the new year with anybody who's watching us in any time zone in America.
Yeah,
because we'll be able to ring in the new year. It's going to be at 6 o'clock Pacific time, and I think that's 9 or 10 o'clock.
That's 8 o'clock
Eastern?
Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. So
9
yeah,
o'clock. So we got, I mean, it's going to be, pretty fucking crazy because we're going to watch 6 hours of the guy. I think we're also going to do some kind of Jordan Peterson art contest, but I think we got to hammer out some more stuff about that. But if you're an artist out there that wants to maybe win some kind of prize, we'll be announcing some details about that later as well. But for now, let's just sink our teeth into these horrible tweets and try to put out of our mind the fact that we're going to have to usher in the new year listening to this moron talk.
So this is Jordan. By the way, it's going to be that is going to be painful for us, but great for everybody else.
Yeah, I'm sure that people do seem to like watching us suffer.
They love to watch us squirm.
I honestly believe, though, that in this instance, they might be biting off more than they can chew. Because they might be just as miserable as us. But hey, I'll give the people what they want. They've been clamoring for the Jordan Peterson Gauntlet, so we're going to give it to them. But patrons only, New Year's night, New Year's Eve. It's going to be December 31st.
Yep.
Into the wee hours of
we're gonna ring in we're gonna ring in the new year in every time zone in the United States. So we're gonna be there for
except
East
Alaska
Coast,
and Hawaii. You guys are fun.
Central.
Sorry.
Yeah, well, Alaska and Hawaii don't really
count. The freak states don't matter.
Yeah, no. So yeah, this is a Jordan Peterson tweet in response to a tweet that it's talking about the dark triad of personality traits, and it says women who were psychopathic not only had more sex partners in general, but they also engaged in more unprotected sex and one night stands than men did. Okay, so a statement like this, if you understand the scientific implications of this statement, it doesn't read that all women that sleep around are psychopaths.
No. Nor does it even say, I mean, like he's saying, believe all women. Oops. What about the psychopaths? It's like, it didn't. There's nothing in this that says psychopaths are more prone to lie about being raped or anything.
Nor is there a
So.
a correlation between a woman being promiscuous and a woman being raped a bunch of times.
Right.
That's-
So I mean, like, there's like a lot of weird stuff. Like the fact, I don't know, it just seems like a weird topic to bring up at this point, especially without any sort of connective tissue explaining why that's his response. But of course, we know Jordan Peterson is totally like an unhinged lunatic. So I guess it's really not too surprising that like that's the first thing his mind goes to.
I mean, this is
I don't
just
know.
him
If you tell me like
capitalizing.
some fucking women are like promiscuous psychopaths, I'm like, cool. But he's like, they're going to
This is-
accuse me of raping them. It's like,
This
what?
is just him capitalizing on the tiny fucking 2 brain cell morons in his audience that don't know how to look at anything deeper than surface level.
Well, look, I mean, like, the fact is that there's a bunch of dudes in his audience. I understand there's like people in Jordan Peterson's audience that are not fucking misogynists or incels or whatever the fuck. I know this, but like, he definitely appeals to that demographic by his own fucking admission. And so a lot of these guys don't need much prompting to just fucking like say some weird and wild shit about women. Like, it's like off the cuff, like, you bring up women and they've got like instantly the takes get fucking weird.
Well, and really deconstruct this take too. Believe all women. Oops. So the idea of believe all women is to like at least give credence to the stories of women who say that they were raped and advocate for there to be a trial
Look,
of their.
I think
of
that
their,
if you're gonna take believe all women as like dogmatically, literally, then I do disagree with it. Because obviously,
well, yeah, of
saying
course.
that you should believe any demographic of people, but like, I think you have to be like realize that. I mean, especially if someone like Jordan Peterson is a fucking college professor and a writer and a mythologist and shit. So like, he definitely knows that you can't just take every word face value absolutely literally. It's not like the point is like take women seriously. It's not necessarily believe everything that comes out of a woman's mouth or something.
No,
Like, I don't know. It's just like
not,
take the claims of women fucking seriously when they're made.
right.
Just like you would anybody else.
Listen and act appropriately when women speak up about being sexually assaulted. That's what believe all women means. And so
that doesn't mean instantly just be
and
like,
he's just like, well, what about the psychopathic women? Like a psychopathic woman can still be raped.
Right. I mean, like, that's the thing too, is like you could still rape a psychopath. A non-psychopath could lie about being raped. A fucking woman of whether psychopath or not can be raped. I mean, there's just like a lot of weird fucking problems with this tweet. It's like, I don't know how he manages to be so off base with so few words.
Yep. And it's a really good example of what his Twitter is. His Twitter is like a bunch of hot takes, but they're really bad kindergarten level hot takes, basically.
But they're crafted to make incels go, yeah.
So there's this video that has Jordan Peterson dressed in a I guess we can take a look at the stupid video real quick.
Made an attempt to listen.
Yeah,
to
here
it.
you go. It's this picture. We don't even have to really like look at the video. We can just let me open up another tab here.
I think he kind of sees himself as a
So this picture, it's Jordan Peterson dressed up in a really weird, and this is him in his house on Halloween or some shit. And there's a picture of Lenin behind him, like a Soviet era, Lenin picture.
Okay.
So I guess the point of this is this tweeter is like, we're trying to act like him being dressed like that or having that type of art means that he's a supporter of Lenin.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Whoa.
It's God sad. DFAT Friday, you take video recommendations for the Peterson Gauntlet. Yeah, you can send us whatever you want. We're not guaranteed to take it, but like if you can figure out a way to get one of us those materials, you go right ahead. I have a Discord server. You can find it linked in any of my videos on my channel, any of the recent ones anyway. And you could put it in the content suggestions box there, or you could send it to me on Instagram. I used to have a Twitter that would probably be the best place, but I don't have that anymore. So whatever.
This is somebody, I'm responding to a tweet. Somebody said, this is what the climate crisis looks like. Our beautiful home, luxurious cars, and money have no value on a dead planet. There's no time to wait. Climate emergency, blah, 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 hashtag, blah. And it's just a horrible flood, which are becoming more common due to
just someone trying to be
change.
like, hey, climate change is fucking bad. Look at these devastating effects.
And Jordan Peterson interprets that as, oh, look, video from a flood somewhere in the world. Give me all the power now. He's literally like he's like Fred Flintstone. Like for some reason, the dude tries to present himself as really academic and really erudite, you know, but
I'm actually quite a dumbass, Paul.
his Twitter is like fucking literally, is there another brain cell to spark against the other one in this fucking, this is just like unga bunga caveman level tweet.
Video from a flood somewhere in the world. Give me all the power now. Oh!
It's like, huh?
Okay.
So we should, so is your implication that we should ignore the growing fucking devastation of climate change? So
I don't even
Marxists
understand. Like
don't-
this guy, I mean, this guy is not even like asking for power or whatever. So,
well, he's
but even if
saying
he
act
was,
on climate. You know, he's saying,
Right,
yeah,
like,
let's have
yeah,
the government do something to stop
let's use our power as a species to like address the problem. I don't know.
And that's what he takes exception to.
It's like, no, we will not save the planet. That's wrong. All right,
well,
buddy.
if you're going to save the planet, you better do it without reaching into my pocket.
Fuck the planet.
Yeah.
Take that, planet.
This one shocked the fuck out of me. Amelia actually showed me this one. So there was this story about how Elmo died of, I don't even know if this is true.
This is Babylon B.
This is the Babylon B.
It's supposed to be a parody site. It's supposed to be like their right-wing Onion or whatever.
Got it. And so there's one that Elmo died, and Jordan Peterson says, he says, "Oh shit, god damn it, fucking idiot."
I mean, I remember what he said. It's basically like, "Good, I hated that infantilized puppet anyway," or whatever the fuck. It was like something like that.
He hates Elmo, basically.
Yeah, I mean, like,
I hate
it's pretty weird. He's just like, yeah, fuck you, Elmo. You
Like, who
infantilized puppet. It's like infantilized. It's like literally for children. Like,
who
the
hates
puppet,
Elmo though?
The puppet
you know?
is for little kids. So like, I don't know. It's pretty fucking weird. Like,
yeah.
Who the fuck wastes their time hating a goddamn Sesame Street puppet goddamn anyway? Like, how fucking often in your life are you like forced subjected to Elmo in the first place?
I'm not a huge Elmo fan, but I don't hate Elmo. Like, I don't know how you'd hate Elmo.
I want to own a picture of Zigo in the Che Guevara classic poster. Please make this merch for us all. Is you care? I think you mean if you care. We'll see. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, let's just solidify my tanky status by throwing me on Che Guevara shirt. Sure,
I'll do it.
Why not? You know what, dude? I welcome the comparison. There you go.
Che
Most people
Guevara.
wouldn't.
Elmo is too woke. That's true. Elmo makes children weak, Paul. Elmo making children weak, Paul. Elmo
that doesn't
woke.
seem.
Prob kids make
true.
them put it on TV. They hate to watch it by proxy. Peterson doesn't have any children at this point. Peterson has an adult daughter, I think, and that's it. So I don't know what the fucking I don't know what the problem is. It's not like, I mean, maybe Elmo is just fucking Jordan Peterson's Gurgi. Maybe his friends keep putting Elmo in front of his face. I hate that fucking puppet. And then his friends like, hey, Jordan, look, it's Elmo, buddy. He's like, stop it, please. All of my conservative voices are just Ben Shapiro.
Well, dude, I think he hates him because Elmo is everything that he doesn't want. Like, Elmo was kind and concerned about his friends.
Oh, he has a son too. I guess I stand corrected. Sorry.
Elmo, if you remember, Elmo always wanted to help people out. Elmo was inquisitive and empathetic and emotionally balanced. As a little, very, very like a loud emotion. All those things are like anathema to a dude like Jordan Peterson. He's speaking to this like men need to be manly kind of thing. It's like the toxic masculinity meme.
If only Elmo was a fucking. I mean, Elmo should have been. We need less Elmo and more Rambo. God damn it, that's what we need. Meanwhile, this guy
he's on this like juiced up, roid raging man streak or whatever the fuck. And I'm fine with men, like there are obviously things that men engage in that women don't and vice versa. Behaviors that are typical of men and women. But the idea that those things are like concrete chiseled into the stone slab of fucking Mount Sinai, you know what I mean? Like, that's ridiculous to me. That's such a like, it ignores social movements and constructs from all over history and tries to make this like edifice out of how men used to be.
Dude,
and it's just like, who gives a fuck how men used to be? You know,
I don't
what
believe
mean?
for a fucking second that Jordan Peterson is actually like on that carnivore diet. Okay, like I don't buy it. There's no fucking way that this dude that can't even fucking
Meat and water.
Yeah, like there's no way this dude is eating whatever the fuck he wants. Maybe in public he's only gonna eat a steak. Even if you catch him eating something, like this dude literally was like, "Yeah, I had some apple cider and it just like, oh my god, I saw demons." Like, oh no, what? There was too many sulfates in it.
He's just involved in selling some fucking cookbook or whatever. I'm sure.
It's his daughter's grift. So he's like, "I'll help you with your grift, sweetie." Yeah, I'm a carnist too. Yeah, listen to my daughter; she's brilliant.
I don't believe for a second that either
better.
of them are doing that. The scrawny liver king. Well, that's his whole thing. Is like he's all about like really trying to collect disaffected young men, but he's farming a different part of it. He's not farming the bros. He's farming like the degenerates and the basement dwellers and the, you know, like the neats and stuff. Like
their money spends too, Paul.
Feel manly without really being outwardly manly. You know, like we have a right to dominate women, even if we're lonely little basement chuds or whatever the fuck. So that's really, it's a very like caveman like philosophy when you look at it, and he's really trying to dress it up like it's some big intellectual thing, but it really just comes down to, remember when men could impose their will on the world? White men specifically could impose their will on everything on the planet, and everything on the planet immediately bent the knee. You know what I mean? The days were better then.
The thing about it is too, like, he keeps talking to these guys like, yeah, things were better when it was like that. It's like, but he's talking to the guys that even when things were like that would have just been, they would have still been like the beta male bitches. So it's like, it's not like some great thing was stolen from them, because they would not have benefited from that system either. But I guess in their delusional minds, they're like, man, if I was alive then I'd be a fucking great, you know, Viking or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he's got like all of this, like he's all about like the mythology of being male while ignoring any progress that's happened. And really the time that people I'd be more impressed with there's something about the 50s. Yeah. Because I will tell you what, when you listen to enough Peterson, as I have now, there's a distinct 1950s tinge to his philosophy. He's a boomer that's just obsessed with his childhood. He will, and it's not like he talks about it all the time, but when you really think about his positions on what men should be doing and how they should assert themselves, he's really pining away for the 50s as a decade.
But the thing is that it's like
the 50s were horrible.
And like, not only that, but like, if you look at these guys, it's just like, you know, you guys are not like Chad alpha looking dudes for the most part. Like when I look at like Jordan Peterson, he does not look, I don't fucking immediately get the sense of like, ooh, wow, what a manly dude. You know what I mean? Like he's just not, he's not that. So it just kind of boggles my mind that they're so infatuated with that idea when they're so far away from the aesthetic of it.
Right. And you know, he's just opposed to the current version of women's rights. That's really what it is. Like the LGBTQ movement is a direct extension of the power that women were able to gain in this country. It is an entire segment of the population fighting for its right to exist and just fighting for baseline equality with everybody else, to not be discriminated against. And Jordan Peterson, just like his 1950s, 1960s counterparts, wrings his hands over a movement that has given, a louder voice to minorities in this country. In some cases, seen them represented in ways that they were never represented in the past. Positive for race relations, positive kind of accepting environment that's developing surrounding people that are gay or lesbian or transgender. is I don't know how you could argue as a human being that that's a bad thing. Oh, we're not shaming and sometimes beating up and kill. I mean, it still happens, but we're not doing it on the level. We're not just like destroying gay people for being gay. Like, you have to be a fucking complete moron to not see the compassion in that. And so
so I think they just reject compassion a lot of times. I honestly feel too that like,
and it really is your
I think
anti-SJW genre is really what, like, that's what it is. They're reacting to some of the more extreme elements of the super far left, people that like women that are lesbian groups that are like all penis and vagina sex is rape or whatever the fuck. They're just like going over the top with crazy bullshit.
That stuff is just fodder for their shit, basically. Yeah, I mean, like,
right.
And
he's using that as an example for why that type of social progress should not be allowed to go forward.
Well, what happens is they find like these very like fringe examples that I do not think represent a lot of people, and then they hype up like, oh my God, there's so many people that think like this right now. Right. But then at the same time, there's also us as this giant unheard majority. But the reality is that most people are not even tuned into the debate, or like probably would find the whole thing stupid, or would have a much more moderate position. It was like, yeah, of course women deserve, well, of course, not all sex is rape. That's ridiculous. So it's like, I feel like there's like a lot of people who are pretty rational on this stuff that are totally ignored in favor of going out and cherry picking like these like very extreme positions and be like, oh my God, this is how people on the left think or whatever. And a lot of times the people they're talking about are not even leftists. They're just crazy people. They're like radical, crazy, ultra fucking extremist feminists or whatever. I mean, there was like a woman that I don't remember what her name was. We used to make fun of her a lot back in the day. That was like on this whole like castrate all men kick. Like all males must submit to castration because it'll make them less aggressive. We do it with dogs. Why not with men? And it's like, yeah, I mean, like, did that woman represent any sort of significant social movement? Was there any threat whatsoever that her idea was going to gain prominence? No. But
yeah,
we made fun of her because she was an easy target. And it's like, yeah, she's absurd. So it's like super easy to just be like, haha, this idiot talking this bullshit. But then of course, a lot of people use that to be like, oh man, that's what all these feminists are trying to do to us. That's their true agenda. And it's like, oh my God, no. And then you end up with Jordan Peterson as like the ultimate codification of that kind of shit.
Right.
Anyway, you remember Evan LaFavor from the old
your friend forever, your friend forever, Evan LaFlavor.
Well, I posted like this long crazy screed on Facebook because I was like, I'm just gonna post this long crazy screed I wrote on Facebook because I was gonna make it a video, but then I was like, I don't really feel like this is the right tone I'm trying to strike right now for a video. But I still did work on this. So I'm just going to put it out like on these social media platforms and just listen to people bitch about how long it is. Cause I knew inevitably it's going to be TLDR. But a few people did have some kind of reaction to it beyond that. And one of them was Evan LaFavor. Unfortunately, his reaction was like, you've plagiarized me. So
oh shit. Are you trying to fucking steal Evan LaFavor's mojo?
So. I didn't realize I was doing it, but here it is. Check it out. So
he's cooking up a beat, TJ.
Yeah. He's cooking up a beef is what he's cooking up right now. Kind of strange. You never espoused any of these aspirations to become king of the world and bring about utopia until after you interviewed me on your podcast in 2015.
True.
When I described to you in great detail my life's work of becoming the first king of planet Earth and bringing about utopia for all. You never talked about any of this stuff until after you heard me talk about it in great detail when you personally interviewed me in 2015 on Drunken Peasants podcast on YouTube. Okay. So
roasted, TJ. Roasted,
all,
bro.
Why did I wait 7 years before I stole all your ideas? Second of all,
because you thought that you would get away with it. You thought he wouldn't call you out if you waited long enough.
I bet you if I wait long enough, I can take all this guy's ideas. Second of all, if I was going to steal from somebody, wouldn't I steal from someone with like a bigger following than Evan LaFavor? Third of all, I don't really remember that being I remember you saying you were God. That was your thing was not like make me king of the world. Your thing was I am God. And you like literally told us that you had like heaven and you were like literally God. You controlled the afterlife. All of us would have like position. You said I was a saint.
You
made Paul a saint. I mean, like, come on, like
Cooking.
That was
I'm
your
also
shtick.
a saint, TJ. So you better watch your fucking mouth, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm a saint.
your shtick was not, I want to become king of the world and make it a utopia. Your shtick was, I'm God.
Cooking
That was
up
your
the
thing.
beat.
So whatever. I don't understand that. That's
Man,
what I remember
TJ,
about it anyway.
Why are you ripping off Evan LaFavor, TJ? That's the question that remains
It gets
on the
even
table.
worse.
Shit.
I'm going to read you the second paragraph. If what you wrote in this tower of text is true and you really want to change the world, then why would you have helped then you would have helped promote my message back in 2015 when I described you in detail on your show. Don't you think you describing it in detail on my show was me promoting your message? Like, you were platformed and there wasn't much pushback because, you know, whatever, you're harmless.
Yeah, you never took up the torch and ran with it, though, did you, TJ? You never used your platform to continuously
I never did
broadcast.
He's basically like mad that I didn't like become an Evanist on the spot or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
But no.
And why shouldn't he be?
You thought
everybody
because
should
you have a
become an
bigger
Evanist.
soapbox than me. I don't. You're God. You've literally said you're God. So you have the soapbox of the universe. That you can get away with plagiarizing my life's work that I have literally been talking about since I was 2 years old. And you thought you could, you thought that no one would notice that you did it. I don't think you're the first person to think about, like, I want to create a utopia on Earth. I'm pretty sure that's a vague enough idea that you can't say it's plagiarism.
You're being held to account, TJ.
I know.
Being held to account. Dude, I don't remember. I will tell you this. I don't ever remember anybody having a broad, sweeping utopian vision or a God complex before Evan LaFavor.
I mean, let me think.
I was introduced to the very concept of that combination of things in a person.
I'm trying to think of even one person. It's not looking good for me, Paul. It does seem like it really.
So basically, here's what's been happening. You secretly over the last 7 years have been taking detailed notes and deep diving into monastic study of Evanism. And you have finally unveiled your aspirations to steal it right under from Evan LaFavor's nose and present it as your own, TJ.
Mm-hmm.
You're a charlatan.
Third paragraph. Oh, wait, hold on. We got money. The ever scamming and forever duplicitous TJ Kirk even after a 7-year switcheroo. Hey, come on now. If you want to change the world, learn to work with others. Don't try to plagiarize everything about their life's work and try to become them. Biting someone else's style is low-hanging fruit and disrespectful to yourself and the person you are copying.
Damn.
Learn to love yourself instead of trying to be other people. You are unique for a reason. And anyway, this is an ensemble show, and there is no main character, so let's work together to save the world. No kings needed. Well, wait. Do you want to be king, or are you saying there's no kings needed? Because if you don't want to be king anymore, why are you getting mad at me for wanting to be king? Don't fucking...
It's an asinine question, TJ. It's a self-evident statement, and you're just fucking, you know what I mean? You're gish galloping at this point to try and avoid. Oh, look at this. And you've even crowned yourself.
I've already
crowned yourself king.
Come on now.
Dude, you've proven the case against you. Even as your mouth denies the truth of Evan LaFavor's words, the crown sits upon your head.
Does he have a crown? Let's see his crown.
I think he does have a crown, actually. Pretty sure Evan LaFavor.
I don't think so, Paul. I don't think he has a crown. So, I mean, hey.
I mean, he has the crown of humanity on his head. He is, the way, the truth, and the life. But he has no need for earthly gold and gems, for such things are passing value, TJ.
Yet he does need credit for the for this super vague concept that he thinks I plagiarize, I guess.
You have clearly
so for plagiarism to be a thing, you have to honestly, the ideas I laid out in that document are pretty fucking vague, to be real with you. It didn't even go into specifics. So honestly, all the stuff I said is ideas that have been around forever. The idea that they're some trademark of Evan LaFavor is weird, but if his claim of being God is accurate, then I am merely his creation, and therefore he shouldn't be surprised that part of his personality is within me, especially as one of his saints, apparently, from 2015. So,
You think you know so much, TJ.
I mean, I don't know
so much.
I mean, I am the
But
king.
in your hubris, you have cast down.
Oh no.
Like a dirty, filthy rag, the genuine outreach of love and support that Evan LaFlavor gave to you by sharing his ideology with you.
Damn it. I
You
didn't realize I
spit
did
on
it. All
and
right.
you monetized it, TJ.
Last paragraph. If you truly want to change the world, promote me instead of plagiarizing me for a change. Because if you attempt to publish any books plagiarizing me and the things I talked about when you interviewed me, or say in my videos, or trying to pass them off as your own, I have mountains of proof and evidence that can prove plagiarism on your part. So give it up now. Sometimes it's best to be yourself and stay in your own lane. Copying someone else instead of being yourself is never the right move. Okay.
Get the fuck out of the Utopia game, TJ. There ain't room for your bitch out. You had Johnny come lately to the Utopia game.
I know. I didn't realize. I was like, guys, I'm ready to create Utopia. Evan's like, bullshit. Motherfucker stealing my act.
Yep.
Like, okay, I'm sorry.
He's on you. Listen, like white on rice.
Evan, I'll tell you what. Let's have a little sporting competition here, Evan. Whoever creates Utopia first, the other has to serve as their court jester. If you create your Utopia first, I will be your court jester. If I create my Utopia first, you will be my court jester. Seems fair. Is that not fair, Paul?
I not only do I think it's fair, I also think that the outcome being like 99.99%, neither of you has to be either's jester is pretty fucking fair as well. You know, because like I don't think either one of you is actually creating any fucking utopian society. So
well, you know, Paul, that's what they all say. That's what they all say.
You reveal that you are plagiarizing Evan LaFleur. You do think you're God, TJ. You just don't espouse it like Evan did. At least Evan admitted he was God.
They all say, Paul, they all come and they say there's not going to be a utopia, but then every time, bam, utopia. So come on now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they are real frequent.
I mean, they're all the time, Paul. Every other week, there's a new utopia going up. Top 10 creepy Google map coordinates. Okay. This is for Paul. This is only for you, Paul. This is your $10.
Sick.
This is you, Paul, because you are cool. Please forever rag upon these vagrants and the unsane mind. There you go, Paul.
All right. Fair enough. I won't.
So, Paul, this is, so these are called, people say these are the human lips in Sudan, but they don't mention whether they're mouth lips or not. And I personally, I was not thinking about.
If you flip this up on its side, this up on its side, I think it takes on a different characteristic.
Yeah, you know, I'm just saying. I mean, to me, that looks like a pussy to me. I'm just saying, you know. But yeah, this is you can look at these coordinates, by the way. This is I don't know how to read coordinates, but you guys can do it if you want. So in the top view, this is in Sudan. In the top view, you can see a area as luscious red lips of a human. In reality, it's a hill formation that can be found in Garb, Darfur, Sudan. If you have a wild imagination, you may think, yeah, my wild imagination does not think about lips at all. I mean, they are, but
nah,
not them lips.
Not I mean, it's lips, definitely, it could go either way. You know what I mean? It's an artistic representation that God did on the face of the planet that could be either way, you know?
Mother Nature's beddossy.
I mean, that might be the mouth of the volcano that I'm going to have to jump into and save the world right there, TJ. You don't know.
You're a lucky man, Paul. Shipwreck in India. Yeah, you see this shipwrecked fucking boat right there. Aside from the accidents on land, there are also some in the sea that leads to sinking ships. In North Sentinel Island, South Andaman, and the Nicobar Islands, India, you will see the largest shipwreck noticeable on Google. It is the SS Jassim, which is a 265-foot Bolivian cargo ferry that ran ashore.
Yeah, this is the Sentinelese that live. So this is that, Stone Age tribe of humans exist on this island, and this tanker broke down near it, and they basically stripped it and looted it for what they could. And left its whole what they couldn't use out there to just rust away in the ocean, and you can still see it. That's pretty neat.
So the inhabitant, this is an island this size of Manhattan, but they don't like outsiders. Anybody who tries to
they're protected. They're protected by the Indian government, by mandate of the Indian government. Nobody's allowed to contact them. It's illegal
because they don't want contact.
They've
So
made it abundantly
clear that they have no interest in contacting the outside world. Now people do fly, drones over them sometimes, and some people do, despite the warnings, go to the island, and they're usually killed pretty promptly or run off. So pretty fucking crazy. Here is some kind of weird crop circle looking formations in New Mexico.
Oh,
The land of UFOs, right?
yeah.
So this is the area contains 2 etchings of large diamonds surrounded by overlapping circles. An author named John Sweeney said that it was the marker for the hidden bunkers for the Church of Scientology. The symbols are used by Scientologists as a guide after escaping a planetary Armageddon and returning to Earth. So this is some kind of weird Scientology shtick here.
Yeah. I mean, like, that's just a nonsense comment.
I remember the Drinky Crow show had the crow having coitus with the earth in some sort of geyser, and it gave birth. Thanks for the $10. This is also some kind of weird triangle in Australia. Another, they say this is Scientology. I'm pretty sure this is UFOs, and I'm 100% sure this is UFOs because human beings don't make these triangle structures.
We definitely don't make geometric structures for sure at all.
And here's proof that Satan is real. This pentagram in Kazakhstan. It's a huge pentagram, roughly 1,200 feet in diameter. You can see the image on the southern shore of the upper Tobol Reservoir. People thought that it was related to religious sects, but it turns out to simply be an outline of a park. So apparently they just built a park in the shape of a pentagram.
Sick, dude.
That's a pretty fucking cool park.
I want to get a house near that park.
And maybe in that park. I want a fucking house right there. They should fucking draw Baphomet on it or something. That'd be pretty cool.
Add some trails.
Sandy
Yeah.
Island.
Oh.
So I don't even know what I'm looking at here. But in 2012, when an undiscovered island popped up on maps, it was called Sandy Island, located in the northwest of the New Caledonia. It has the size of Manhattan. However, when a group of scientists sailed to the area, they never found a solid ground, but open water instead. They explained that it may have been due to human error or a possible Tumis raft. So basically, some mysterious island blips into existence for a second and then vanishes again, possibly due to some computer error, possibly due to some kind of event that I don't understand because I don't know what a fucking pumice raft is. I don't know if that's
crazy.
a thing or I don't know. You could look it up, but I'm not curious enough.
Maybe it's Atlantis, bro.
You think the fucking Atlanteans rose up
dude,
from the depths for a second?
Fucking island with a big dome over it that's also a submersible.
Oh, fuck. I knew they were around somewhere. Cursed figure in Nancy, France. So this one's pretty fucking creepy looking, really.
Yeah, that does have the vague era of menace, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if let me try to see if I can enlarge that one, actually. No,
it does radiate menace. It has the aura of menace is strong coming off of this one, in my opinion. The more I look at it, the spookier it gets.
If you're exploring the streets of Nancy, France, you might get curious about a blurred area. Good thing that people are quick to take screenshots as evidence. It turns out that there's a creepy-looking statue in the apartment. It looked like a tall, corpse-like statue with messy hair and white, large eyes. Some say it was a tiki statue, but why does Google feel need to blur the area out on maps? Probably because it's so fucking spooky, and they don't want people just like going to it and being like, "Oh fuck, what is that?"
Yeah, they don't want people making their pilgrimages to entreat the Dark Lord.
This is one of my favorites right here. This huge, horrified.
It looks like a fuck toy bunny.
Yeah, and it's huge. It's like a giant. It's fucking. You see it compared to this house over here.
Yeah, that is huge, man.
Located in the 5,000-foot Coleto Fava Mountain in northern Italy's Piedmont region, is a 200-foot bunny. If you are exploring the area, you might freak out with its humongous size and creepy face. This rabbit is an art installation knitted. That's insane. By Gallatin, a Viennese art collective. The outdoor sculpture's purpose is to let tourists play with it by climbing and sleeping on it. I would not sleep on that horrifying thing, whatever the fuck it is. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't want it. I like that it exists, but I like that it exists far away from me.
If I was an alien and that I came and scanned the surface of your planet and I saw that shit, I would turn around and go the other way, man.
Bob's Burgers meets the Noid. I think you're right. So this is an interesting thing here. There's a small village located in Shikiko, Japan. What makes it creepy are the dolls located all over the place, which are made by an old lady. According to reports, once a person dies, she replaces them with a doll. Another creepy thing is that you won't see the dolls in the same place, but the old lady denies moving these dolls.
What?
Yeah, there you go. The creepy village of the dolls.
That sounds like some gibberish right there.
Oh, it's
they don't
true,
even have
Paul.
a picture of that shit. It's like a painting.
That's not a painting. That's
or
real.
Is it a picture? I can't fucking tell.
This is real. But this is very strange. This is the portal to hell in New Baltimore, New York.
Hell no, dude. Nope. Not going there, dude. Anything you take a picture of and it gets all drippy like this, you know there's some evil motherfucking spirits and bullshit going on in that place.
If you watched or played Silent Hill, you will get the shock of your life when you see the image of this area in Google Street View. It looks like a nightmare with twisted buildings and shadowy figures, which is very similar to Silent Hill. However, it was later revealed to be a technical problem that resulted in a distorted image of the entire road. Though it was already cleared, the area still feels creepy because you can't unsee the previous images. We want to thank you all. Yeah, there's just fucking thank you for reading the article there. Yeah, this one is probably the scariest one because they got this whole lie about like, oh, it was something wrong with the camera. I've never seen no camera do this shit.
You know what, dude?
What is going on here?
If you really deconstruct why this picture is spooky, it all comes together, dude. Look, that house. What is it? What kind of what area of the country does that style of house evoke from you?
That's like I don't know. It kind of looks like the Amityville house. I don't know.
Yeah, I want like Pennsylvania, dude. It looks like it was built by like Pennsylvania Dutch people.
Oh, like Pilgrim kind of motherfuckers.
Yeah, like shit. Pilgrim style fucking old house.
Some Puritans.
When the fucking Google camera even drives by it to take the picture, the digital fucking information drips like blood, bro. You better stay the fuck away from those geolocational coordinates. There is something fucking really wrong with going on in that house.
Something bad is happening.
Dude, there was like a tribe of white people that fucking were raised up in that house to be cannibals that snuck into the fucking nearby town and like abducted children to eat them or some shit fucking happened over there, dude. Some Leatherface stuff happened in this house right here.
Got an update on this doll story. What's even creepier is the lady who made the dolls died, and a doll in her visage was added to the collection.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit, dog. That's spooky.
What the fuck is going on?
That's spooky.
All right. It's time to talk about Dr. Seuss, okay?
Is it really?
Yeah. Did Dr. Seuss cheat on his wife? The real story in love life. Bet you were reading Cat in the Hat and you're like, yeah, I like this cat and I like this fish and all that, but like, is this dude plowing bitches he ain't married to or what? That's what I need to know. This dude who wrote and drew this shit, like, is he fucking around on his old lady or what? So now you get to finally have that curiosity satisfied, Paul.
I know the answer to this already, man.
Yeah, I've heard before that he was adulterous, but the fact that they're phrasing it as a question means maybe they're going to tell me like, despite rumors to the contrary,
maybe
Dr. Seuss was actually very faithful. So let's find out.
I doubt it, but we'll see.
So the real story, Paul. Theodore Seuss Geisel, Dr. Seuss, popular, blah, blah, blah. We know. But did he cheat on his wife? Did he cheat on his fucking wife? Here's some basic facts for you, right? His name, Theodore Seuss Geisel, his nickname, Dr. Seuss, place of birth, Massachusetts. Date of birth, March 2nd, 1904. Date of death, September 24th, 1991. He was a Pisces. His hair was black. His eyes were black, apparently. That's kind of spooky. I don't remember him having like solid black demon eyes, but okay. Profession, cartoonist. Sexual orientation. How do you know? You don't know what he might have jerked off to in his head. First wife, the late Helen Palmer. Second wife, Audrey Stone Diamond. Hobby, writing. I think it was more than a hobby. He was like he did that for a living.
Kind of his profession, yeah.
As a cartoonist and writer. So anyway, Who is he? We know who the fuck he is. When did he get married? Okay. We're getting into the fucking potentially them talking about the infidelity. Dr. Seuss was married to his first wife, Helen Palmer, from 1927 to 1967. He met Helen Marion Palmer at Oxford University in English literature in 1925. Yeah, when he was going to Oxford for his his little hobby that he did. And the two became friends. One day, while riding a motorbike with Helen, Dr. Seuss decided this would be an ideal opportunity to ask Helen to be his wife. They got married in 1927. Their relationship was anything but easy, though. As it turned out, Palmer was right to be suspicious of her husband's extramarital affairs because he married the same lady after she passed away. I don't know if that's very awkwardly worded, but I think what they're saying is that, like, are you cheating on me with that bitch over there? Are you cheating on me with goddamn Audrey Stone Diamond? And he's like, no, baby. Hell no. But then, soon as she fucking is dead, it's like, Audrey Stone Diamond, you want to get married now?
Damn.
Guillain-Barré syndrome caused Helen Geisel to suffer from partial paralysis for more than 10 years. Finally, in October 1967, at the age of 68, Helen committed suicide due to depression brought on by increasing symptoms and perhaps worries that her husband had an affair with her best friend, who would later become his second wife. So he did. He's like, my wife is paralyzed, so time to fuck a best friend.
This is just defamation of Dr. Seuss right here. This is all bullshit, man. There's no fucking proof he cheated.
He should have
on
written
anybody.
a children's book about this.
He didn't cheat on nobody, man. Dr. Seuss was a saint.
Her vag did not work. It was so numb and lame that I went to her best friend and finally came.
Yep.
So here's some have her suicide note for some goddamn reason. I am so old and enmeshed in all you do, and that I cannot imagine living without you. I was overworked and agitated, yet my departure will leave quite a rumor. No harm will come to your standing among your friends and supporters. I'm pretty sure that
Well, there you go. That's
because we're reading about it. Now,
proof positive. Proof positive, TJ, that he was cheating on his wife right there. I take it all back, man. It's incontrovertible.
How many times did Dr. Seuss get married? Got married twice.
Yeah, he was married twice.
He was married to his wife and then to his wife's best friend that he definitely didn't fuck.
That's got to be the average number of marriages nowadays, isn't it?
What did Dr. Seuss do to his wives, Paul? What did he do? What the fuck did he do? What did he do, Paul?
He supported them and he loved them and he cared for them.
What did he do? Paul.
Yes.
What did he do, Paul?
Oh man, this is sinister. He must have done
What did he do? Yes, Paul.
He did something sinister.
What did he do, Paul?
Oh my God.
What did he do?
God, what did he do? It must be grisly.
What did he fucking do? What did he do? Let's find out. Most people are curious to know what Dr. Seuss did to his wives because of what happened to his first wife.
Good guess. He turned them into dolls.
Did he treat his second wife any better?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that part of his life is not known. So the answer to what did he do is I don't know.
Nothing.
They're
really.
like, I don't know, probably nothing. I don't know. Just
nothing you can prove.
Probably a pretty normal guy, I guess. I don't know. Was Dr. Seuss a real doctor?
No.
Did Dr. Seuss die?
Yes, he did.
What a great article. All right. Here's some quick Dr. Seuss facts. How many times did he get married? We already know that. Twice. When did he die? This date. We already went over all this. They're just repeating the same facts at this point. It's like, hey, remember this stuff from earlier? Here it is again, bitch. Yeah.
What did he do, though, TJ?
And then at this point in the article, who is Dr. Seuss? A popular American author.
Oh my God.
It's like huh?
That's just
Tuca, what are you doing, buddy?
This is some cursed fucking business.
Tuca, what are you doing? What's Dr. Seuss's zodiac? He was a Pisces. Wow. I swear I read that somewhere before, like up here where it already said that in two places. Yeah. gonna like this or hate it. I don't know.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is birds. It says MLB birds getting hit, but most of them honestly don't get hit. They just kind of like fly at inopportune times. But when you see the ones that do get hit,
they really get. I mean, you can
They
tell
get-
there's a lot of force.
I mean,
they
there's a
get hit with.
bird. I don't even want to spoil it for you.
Alonso and Healy to follow.
That bird was spared.
One hit foul.
Hit foul, get it? Eh?
The Seagull
Eh.
come like right between the pitcher and the catcher, or the pitcher and the.
Check this out.
Oh shit!
Jesus fucking Christ.
That
man.
looks like a Looney Tune cartoon or
I
something.
know. It doesn't even look fucking real. Check it out. Boom.
Oof, that's a dead ass bird too.
Yeah, that bird
Literally knocked the fucking feathers off that motherfucker.
Yeah, it literally explodes like a fucking feather pillow during like a pillow fight or something. Like it's
That
nuts.
is crazy.
That bird just detonates. I love it. Damn it.
That bird comes in. If you look from the left of your screen,
Man, some of these announcers, bird comes in. Are you paid to talk?
Oh my god, yeah, dude. Some of these guys were horrible.
Bird comes in, Lord, left the screen, see birdie goes there.
Harry Carey used to call baseball games. He sounded like a fucking schizophrenic in a padded cell somewhere.
That first seagull had a gigantic piece of fish stick. Did he? I didn't even notice that. Let me see again. Oh yeah, you're totally fucking right.
The Seagull come
Oh
like
yeah,
right between the pitcher and the catcher, or the pitcher and the.
he's got a morsel for sure.
That seagull's
somewhere.
like, I think there's time. That seagull's a fucking thrill seeker, man. All right, let's see what happens here.
of Josh as he's getting ready to swing, boom, the bird gets actually knocked down.
Yeah, the bird.
That bird is dead. That bird was
that's
not
another dead
obliterated
bird.
like the last bird we saw, but like,
No.
you know, that bird deserved it. Yeah, that bird was a fucking piece of shit.
He is not running, and it's fouled back. This game is hard enough, especially when a bird is flying in front of you. Did you see that on the replay?
That bird's lucky. We'll get you
Yeah,
next time, bird.
A bird going.
It's like a
like
roller
this.
coaster. It's like when people jump off a building or whatever for birds. It's like, let's go to the baseball game and fucking fly right down there.
Yeah, so while we're watching the rest of this, I'm going to remind you guys, we do have a Jordan Peterson gauntlet coming your way on New Year's Eve. It's going to be 6 Pacific. I think we said like 9 Eastern.
Yep.
It's going to be patrons only. We're going to be watching 6 hours of Jordan Peterson and ushering in the new year for patrons. And if you want to see that, you can join our Patreon. But we're going to be doing that gauntlet. We're going to be watching fucking 6 hours of Peterson. We're probably going to do some other Jordan Peterson related activities as well, but mostly just watching his ass. Commentating,
the whole
see what he's got to
idea-
say, trying to get to the bottom. I always try to make there be a goal. My goal in mind is to understand what the fuck the appeal of Jordan Peterson is. I mean, I got like some rudimentary ideas, like, yeah, disenfranchised. I mean, like beyond just like he attracts disenfranchised losers and stuff. Like, I want to know deep. I want to understand more deeply the appeal. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you're gonna know more than most people are willing to subject themselves to after the gauntlet, because that's the whole point of the gauntlet. That's why it's a gauntlet. It's just an endless procession of Peterson.
Watch this bird explode again. Boom! All right.
Damn.
Poor birdie. Poor little fucking birdie. Anyway, so we're gonna be speaking of Patreon only stuff, beyond just the Peterson stuff that's happening on New Year's Day, December 31st, into the wee hours of the very first day of 2023. We are also going to be imminently doing another hour of stuff over on the Grease Trap. And we have some stuff that I think me and Paul both held some stuff in reserve for that. I have some Funko Pop stuff. We got some death penalty stuff we might get to, sorcerers, and I got some stuff about a crazy ass preacher talking about identity. I'll give you a little taste of that.
Hey everybody! Next Sunday at Coach.
Yeah, we're gonna listen to Chad Stafford. He's gonna tell us all about identity. He's introducing his new identity series because people are so confused now with all this gender this and gender that. So we're gonna check that out. We'll see what we can sink our teeth into on that one. Got some of history's crazy sorcerers. Got some of this douchebag here arguing for the death penalty. We might get to him too. I don't know. We might not get to that one, but we'll see.
You know what I got, TJ?
What do you got, Paul?
I'm bringing for the grease trap some of this.
What you got? You gonna play more of this fucking nightmare crypto shit?
To the moon!
Oh God, no. All right, we'll try. So guys, come on down, enjoy the grease trap with us, become a patron. It's totally worth it. There's tons of shit there. I don't even feel like getting into the sales pitch, but like there's a shit ton of content. That's all you need to know, and all of it's pretty fucking goddamn.
Yeah, what else would
you
want to know? Just go get the content.
And hey, if you join now, you can see the Jordan Peterson gauntlet on New Year's Eve. So
very true.
Bye-bye. See you on the other side. See you at the grease trap.